Midget porn. Monkey prostitutes.
Alright, so we're back live. Music.
No, that's the ins.
Everybody's way
perfect. That's just
Everybody's
perfect.
We're
That's like the wrong word now. We have to say like
silent.
vocally challenged.
We went silent. We went
Silently impaired.
silent.
I'm on. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome to the weekly podcast.
Whoopee!
Attitude for Gratitude.
Boom, pow, bang.
We're dealing with some technical stuff, so we appreciate everyone's patience. For starters, let me just thank everyone for checking in and everyone's patience with the show. Our fellowship of listeners is getting bigger and bigger each week, and the show's growing. And with that comes new challenges. But we appreciate everyone. Thank you, Eric, for everything. Our technical advisor is out the door.
See you later, Eric.
So tonight it's gonna be a little different. Tad is out and about on the town. Someone took him to a show in the event from last month's Pride stuff. So he has been taken out to a show.
He's
And
been
not
taken
there-
hostage.
Yes, no, he went to go do something for recovery and get outside himself, and that's okay because tonight we've got Bob to fill in for him as a
Boom.
Yes.
Drop the mic. I am here.
Yes, he is. So first thing, like every
Welcome.
week, I just want the audience to know that 2218 is the world's longest running Alamo Club.
For the
And
state of Minnesota.
It is the place that holds the podcast. It's the place that has meetings. It's the place that did the right for recovery, that does recovery OE. There's just so much that's going on here at 2218. And with that said,
Oh.
am I not being heard? Am I being heard? I'm gonna just keep on blabbing away. As always, each week there will be a link for donations if you're able to donate to the Alamo Club.
Give us more money so we can buy a room.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
what? Like Eric said, we need more money.
We need to build a
The
room.
money doesn't go directly to the podcast; it goes to the club. The club is it's like a 1,100-year-old building, and there's always upgrades.
If we build it, they will come.
And people have came. Like this club's been open all through COVID, and they're very COVID safe. And we just like to
And
take
friendly.
advantage of those things.
Word.
So, are we live? All right.
All right.
I'm getting weird looks from the producers and all this and that. So you guys are like listening to me babble, not sure if I'm live or not. So
And it wouldn't be possible without our audience.
without the audience, this
I
is
mean,
an interactive
you
show.
are the main part.
With that said, anyone who would like to post any questions, we do strongly advise for you to be part of this show. The show is your show as much as it is ours.
We welcome your input.
Yes,
It is
input,
greatly appreciated.
advice, questions,
Yes.
concerns, anything like this is your show as much as it is ours. So with all that said, thank you guys for being here. I got a message saying they couldn't hear me, but I think that's been fixed. I hope. Let's see here. I'm not hearing me.
Are we hearing
Yeah,
me?
they're hearing me from like a mile away. This happened last week.
Check, 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 check,
Oh,
check. Bob coming in? All right. I'm coming in. All right.
Number are you on the mic?
Well, what
Well,
about
it
me,
sounds like Timmy's mic is cut out for just a minute, so he's on what we would call a stellar break. Anyway, we'd like to say thanks to everybody who is listening and participating in this Attitude for Gratitude evening on Friday evenings over here at 2218. In other words, you guys are probably one of the most important. You know, we have guests on here who talk about recovery, but we also have you listening and giving us input, feedback, and all those other important things that we need to know if the podcast is succeeding in what it's trying to do. So with that being said, we greatly appreciate all of you guys listening on a regular basis and putting your input in and stuff. So we have a good show for you this evening. We got Curtis M. and who is our other? Kyle S.
Kyle the Virgo.
Kyle the Virgo. Whoa!
introduce you guys yourself.
Yeah, come on down, boys.
Yeah, my name's Curtis Allen.
You're good.
My last name, I don't know how that works out here.
You can.
You guys
It's up to you. Each one is autonomous. You are autonomous.
Curtis Miller alcoholic.
Whoa! Hey,
Curtis and me are a little quiet.
nice to meet you.
All right, so you two hold the conversation, Bob and
And
Kyle.
you?
Yeah, so my name is Kyle. I'm a Virgo, and I am
Kyle.
in recovery. Yeah, I'm grateful to be here.
Really glad that you are here, Kyle.
checking
Are
out
you
the
a
sh-
member of the club here?
Yeah. So we got Phoenix NA going on.
Oh, awesome.
I
Awesome.
participate in service Saturday and Sunday nights.
Awesome. How long have you been doing that?
For about 2 months now.
Okay, so been coming down on a pretty regular basis. Couple
Oh
nights
yeah,
a
man! I
week, or-
tell you what, I know the definition of commitment.
yeah.
I can confirm
You know,
that if you hear
yeah.
me.
And that and early on, that's extremely important. Is to learn what commitment is and be committed to commitment.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's a lot of things that we say one thing, but our actions show another, and we're going to be there, but we don't. We say we're going to do this, but we don't. So, in other words, actions speak louder than words, and I'm really glad that you are here with us this evening. I'm glad you're a part of the Phoenix group. Is that taking off? How many regular people come to those meetings on a regular
I'll
basis?
tell you what, man. We see numbers anywhere from 20 to 40 people.
That's a really good deal.
I'm yet to see a 60 night, but
We're going to talk about your commitments.
And that's what's right. That's what's nice about this Alano used to be pretty much Al-Anon and AA, and I think there was some Alateen once in a while mixed in here, but now we've become popular in the recovery community with NA, and that's I think that's extremely important because any of those A type recovery programs, or not programs, but yeah, they're a program of recovery that teaches us how a different way of living and working on constant change and not staying stuck and,
Oh, yeah.
and living in those old behaviors, unhealthy behaviors that
Let's
is.
see what's going on. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, not a problem. He does it all the time. No, just kidding. No, I'm glad that I'm just really glad that
good.
the club has opened its mind and process to having different types of recovery groups in here now. So I think it's really benefiting the club. I think it's boosting membership. I think it's boosting morale with
yeah.
a lot of the people in the club.
Morale is a huge thing.
It really is.
That really is.
It really is. I mean, you can see it. I mean, I've been in recovery long enough that I have seen how the ebb and flow of recovery works in these clubs. I've been a member of a couple of different clubs, and I've gone to meetings at 3 or 4 different clubs on a pretty regular basis over the years. So I've seen how, the ebb and flow of how meetings get big, meetings get small. So it's awesome that when something new is introduced, that it takes off and it takes a hold.
Right.
And that seems to be the deal here with 2218, that NA is really thriving here.
Yeah, it's got
and
tread.
people know that they've got a safe haven to come to, and things and a different. And they can find a different way of living,
Yeah.
without having to use. So that's what this is. AA's about, and that's what Al-Anon's about. Is how learning how to deal with situations in a different, healthy manner, and working on change, healthy change. So with that being said, that's a good thing. So I'm really glad that your group is. Or is there more than, the Phoenix is at more than one meeting a week?
yeah,
Or
actually, it's 6 days out of the week.
6 days out of the week. Okay, that's awesome.
But what's nice too, now that filled in a gap that 2218 had a Wednesday meeting that was an NA group here at 6:30, and then Phoenix came in and picked up the other 6 nights. So now 2218 has an NA meeting option every night of the week.
Pretty much every-
Along with
okay,
the 3 to
every
5 AA meetings as well.
That's
as now
awesome.
that young person's NA meeting, there's some, I think, Al-Anon starting back up here. A CMA meeting on Tuesday nights.
See, so that's another
Yeah.
different part of recovery too. So, there's not by only one way to which one person can recover. So
Right.
AA worked for me. I see NA working for other people. I see CMA working for other people. So, those types of recovery methods and programs that get instituted in a person's life, and if they stay committed to it, they can really have change, healthy change happen in their life. And I've seen it. I've seen those miracles happen. You're a miracle, brother. Sitting right
Oh,
next to
absolutely.
He won't stay shy on that. Like Bob, you took the reins and really ran with it. Thank you for filling in there for a few minutes. I got to get the promo and all that crap stuff out of the way. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Curtis, could you introduce yourself again?
I'm Curtis Miller, alcoholic.
Thank you. Curtis and myself on the east side of the board here, we just lost Mike. So we're all back on live. 2218, it is the Alano Club. That's the world's longest running Alano Club at this time. And Elena, our faithful producer, will put up some links on
Boom.
donations. If you're able to donate, please donate.
Go, girl.
Every Friday night, we have a gratitude cafe for $5. Tonight, it was homemade pizza. She gave you like 3 big-ass pieces, a salad, a dessert, ice cream, coffee, water. Like, you're getting filled for $5. It's awesome. There's so much you guys
I didn't
already,
get that
there's
at the
so much
bar
you-
for $5.
You guys just talked about that. Like, I want to bring up just the ebb and flow part, his service commitments, things of that nature. Like, there's a lot to already jump into. I don't know how much you guys heard. Tad's not here tonight. He was invited to
Swept
go.
away
Yeah, he was invited
By
somewhere,
minions
and
in the recovery community.
he's off doing something tonight, but he will be back next week. So Bob stepped up, and he's taken over that.
I don't want to. When do you
spot.
want me? I don't want to. When do you want me? I don't
And
want to. When do you want me?
Curtis stepped up with 24 hours notice, which we appreciate. I know Bob just reached out to you yesterday morning to confirm
Thank you,
the
Curtis.
position, and
Absolutely.
Kyle was tonight, like
Kyle, you are
at
that's it.
6:20. I think.
Damn. I got
And-
nothing to do. I'm a swinging bachelor.
I think he said he had something to do, but
Oh.
No, that was actually just me giving you some crap, man. You know, the
We
way-
caught him.
the
We
way it
caught him.
goes, man. You guys, coming around here long enough, I've been getting enough crap from Tim and Tad that I got to throw it back a little bit every now and again when I
Bam.
get a chance. So
Thanks for coming down.
Well, and that's the thing is this guy here. I want to just put him on a soapbox real quick. Is this NA group? It's newer, okay, and we're getting it up and running. Regardless, it's NA, a recovery group that's kind of been taking off. Like it's 6 nights a week. That means there's about 18 different positions in all that need to be filled throughout those 6 nights. Everyone holds a position, and you have to be responsible for those positions. Well, we're in a group chat, and when somebody like Kyle's the guy people basically dump on. Hey, Kyle, can you fill? Like, he's here every night of the week, and you shared about that right away. And I don't know if the audience got to hear about that, but like
Kyle's the seed that was planted in the ground has been watered.
well,
And
in early
now he's
recovery,
growing.
that's what we do. It's if you're able to basically whatever financially, time wise.
And a lot of us have
give.
time on our hands.
Well, that as long as you're filling it with healthy shit like that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
So-
saying. We have a lot of time on our hands. So that's the cool thing about early recovery that worked for me is, and for I see it work for a ton of people is, what do you got going? Oh, nothing. Here, you're going to go do this.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're gonna go-
okay.
yeah.
All right, I'll do that.
Fill
and
a
it worked.
position. So, like, what I was gonna bring up was we were supposed to kind of check in, but with the technical issues, like, I'm doing good. Bob, you're doing good. It sounds like.
If I
You're
was any
blessed.
better, I'd be twins. I could have twice as much fun.
And we'll talk about it ourselves a lot more. But what I want to do is, Kyle, I would like for you to share about what it is for you in your commitments, because I know you've taken on a lot, and like, how at this stage, how much time do you have?
almost 6 months.
All right, and how has that like played a part in your
Nice.
recovery? Talk to us about it.
Yeah, man. So definitely keeping gratuity in the forefront of my recovery has been a blessing every day that I wake up. About five and a half months ago, when I had my last relapse, I fell into a state of depression, right? Because I got complacent, and from there, I was trying to figure out what the next step was. How was I going to get through this and really stick and stay? So I started going to a meeting every single day. Found out that I could take on a service position.
Do you know how did you hear about this place?
Phoenix. So I started coming to 2218 about 2.5 years ago.
Oh, okay. So this was kind of something you knew about.
It wasn't a Phoenix then, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was just solely just to come here because I knew that there was meetings going on all day long.
Awesome. Okay.
So yeah.
So yeah, man. Really, man. I decided to sow into something that has been sowing into me in my life.
Awesome.
Up until last week, man, I was a felon.
You're not anymore?
I'm not a felon anymore.
Yeah, buddy.
Me neither. What a coincidence.
I managed to somehow, by the grace of God, my probation officer decided to discharge me from probation 6 months early, leaving me with no
Boom.
felony charges. I'm no longer a felon.
Nice.
Gifts of recovery.
So every chance that I get, man, I try to step up, and it's really the newcomers, man, because I was a newcomer at one time and it was always uncomfortable, man.
Was that an eye opener for you?
It really was, man. I've seen newcomers all the time. It's just, I think for me the most important part of the meeting is the clean time. Hearing people how they did it, seeing the smiles, and it just keeps the joy flowing for me.
Watching them stick around.
Yeah, man, sticking and staying, man.
Yep,
That's the one thing, man. I decided not to run away anymore because that's all I was doing my whole life. I was running.
So is this the first time you basically you went all
tried?
in? Yeah.
Oh, this is the first time I got a service commitment. I'm working steps. I got a sponsor. Doing what he's telling me to do. And then some, man. Like, cause I used to do everything I could to get high at the end of the day. So,
Right.
I mean, realistically, I'm doing everything I can to
You're
get my
right.
recovery
You're
at
right
the end of the day.
There you
That's
go.
key right there. A strong
You only get out of it what you put into it. So it sounds like
Absolutely.
you got both cheeks into this one.
Well, and I think I know this is kind of cliche, and it's not though. But you touched on it. Is a lot of people used to say that to me in early recovery, and I know you've got you're the newest face here. And you touched on it right away. Like we equate. A lot of people tell me to equate like, what did you do for your high? Like what length? A lot of times it was in the
How
middle
far
winter.
did you go?
Because I got in here during February, and they're like, if it was blizzard out and the buses were down, like, and you need your fix, I was taking.
And you were
vehicle.
barefoot.
I was whatever. I was doing what it took to go get my fix. Like they're like, well,
These 2-liter bottles will work
That
as-
into your recovery.
I'll cut them open,
And
use
it's
them as
shit
shoes.
like that. Like go to any lengths, and a lot of that's cliche, but you're kind of sharing about that right now. So do you sometimes put that to the test? Like when you're like, I don't feel like going, do those things come to the forefront?
I don't feel like going. Then I gotta go. That's really what it comes down to. It's been, for 3 years, I have been trying to get this thing going. I managed to quit one drug at a time, realistically. It's been 2.5 years clean from heroin, over 2 years off of Xanax, a year off of alcohol and weed, and here I am 6 months clean off of meth. I've never put the work then that I have put in today. Working with the sponsor, and listening to what he has to say. Not only like listening, but doing what he's telling me to do, not just telling him the things that like I know I can manipulate around, so he'll give me the advice that I actually want.
Co-sign some bullshit.
Co-sign my bullshit, I'm telling him exactly what's going on, man, and like it works out pretty good. He opens up my mind in ways that I would have never been able to think about things,
So, who is your sponsor? No last names, but
Oh, Matt C.
okay, brother Matt.
So,
Kudos.
and he's good shit. I know Matt. I've known him since day one. Matter of fact, we used to go to AFL. It's not around anymore. But
Yep.
So, with Bob was touching on this earlier already. Was there's CMA, there's AA, and you know what? Like, I understand. The goal is to not pick up anymore and find this new way of living. And whether you find it through one of these A's or spiritually, some people find religion. Some people find whatever method it is. We're
Don't
just
care
at
how
the
you
men's
get it,
meeting.
just get it.
Yeah, we have a men's meeting on Thursday at New Hope.
But of course, I'm gonna promote AA.
Well, and
'Cause
whatever
it
the
worked
case,
for me. You
that's
know what I
what
mean?
worked for you.
And what works for him, he's gonna promote what works for him.
Exactly. Everyone finds their own path, and it's like you
Hail
said,
to the
3
Yale.
years time, you gradually found the answer. Like right now, it sounds like you've got a grip on things, and things are working out in your life. Correct.
Things are working out. I've got no grip on it, really. I mean, every day is something new.
So at the end of the day, would you say
I
it was
love that.
It was a situation where
I love what he just said.
he's got a grip on nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Because once
it
you
wor-
figure that out, guess you know who's in charge by then. Attaboy.
Was it a deal where you were more or less like, I don't have the answers, and I understand I don't have the answers?
Sort of, yeah. I mean,
Elaborate.
exactly. I mean, the meetings are a library. The books, the literature is a library. The talking to my sponsors, a library.
But you're so
I
streetwise.
I mean, gotta be right. If you're an addict, man, you gotta know something about the streets.
Word, homie.
I I find my answers here. And if I don't find them here, I've got I got a support network. I'd like to think that they've got me, and they usually do. In the time of need, when I don't want to reach out to anybody, man, that's when I got to pick up the phone. It no longer weighs 1,000 pounds because I've been lifting it.
Right.
It doesn't feel like 1,000 pounds anymore.
I am so proud of you because you just told my story, and I've been doing this for a little while. You said the exact same thing when I let go, and my group had the answers, the book had the answers, the steps had the answers, other people's actions had the answers. Boom.
I didn't know how I could get him to
Curtis, can
talk
you
about
elaborate
that.
on that?
Well, and that's where we're going to next. I wanted to kind of now introduce Curtis. We didn't, like I said, we didn't get to open up the show like normal, but whatever. So Curtis, I know you've been around for a few days. You got a few 24 hours. Like, what was the path that worked for you? Like, we don't have to go our whole experience, strength, hope, but like, introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself. How things work for you.
Well, like I've already said, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear.
Okay, I can't hear myself here.
Oh, you know what? You keep going. And
I can't hear
tell me
myself
if I
either.
can change.
All right, sounds good.
Can you?
No, I can't
Oh.
hear.
All right, just go ahead. Keep going.
Keep
Okay.
talking. Get after it, Curtis. I can hear you fine.
Well, one of the things when I first came in, I had finally been beaten down. I mean, my life was a struggle with.
You keep talking. You're
Oh, okay.
I got to sit up.
My life was a struggle with trying to find myself and find my place in life, and when I found drugs and alcohol, that became the forefront of my life. I found myself. It kind of released
Through
me,
that?
allowed me to be what I wanted to
Through
be
that,
and do
yeah.
what I wanted to do,
Gotcha.
and I'll be honest, I had a lot of fun. There was a turning point in my life where fun wasn't a part of it. It became more of a job. I had to do what I had to do on the streets and do what I had to do in my previous marriage to get what I needed for myself, to feed my addictions and my
Manipulator man.
Yes. Got to pay the man, right? But, in through that journey, I've, like most of us, I've caused a lot of damage, destroyed lives even, in and out of institutions. The military let me go before my time even and sent me away.
Is that a dishonorable discharge? Or is that's a discharge that you didn't, like, they kicked you out type of deal?
They don't like it when you sell drugs in the military.
That's usually a first class ticket out?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my first stint with the law, and it was a pretty severe one at that. But I mean, and not to talk about all the stuff I did and everything that went on in the past.
Sorry. No,
Nope,
these will
that's
be
good.
way more comfortable. We're still dealing with some technical issues.
Oh
audience.
yeah, that's good to go.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep.
So it took me quite a few times of getting locked up and running into problems and issues, and before I got to a point where I knew that I had to stop. And even at that point, it was a struggle to. I mean, I'd get incarcerated, and I knew within my soul that this had to stop. My life had to change. There's a better life out there for me, and I know it's there, and I need to change.
Your heart knew, but your head said,
So you wanted it really bad but couldn't figure out how at the
Absolutely.
time? Okay.
Well, I mean, the way I grew up in the program, I guess you could say. I lost my train of thought where I was going there.
I was bugging you about you really wanted to quit but didn't know how, and you were starting to elaborate on that. Like, you're at a point of wanting not to use or be part of that anymore.
Yep, absolutely. And I remember a few times when I was getting ready to be released, and that desire was so strong that I knew this was it. I wasn't going to use no matter what. And as soon as it's like the book AA talks about that we're quick to forget our trials and tribulations of the past. It's exactly what it is. As soon as that gate opened, they let me out that door. I'd find myself at the dope house or in front of the liquor store without even thought.
It was just first nature.
Yeah,
That's
first nature.
Yeah,
I
it's
had
what we do.
such a solid conviction. I mean, it was heart and soul conviction.
Oh.
But yet there I was, and
And then after that first one, did you feel the guilt and shame?
no, I just ran.
Just ran?
I didn't. I never thought about it again until
Really?
I got to a position where I had to sober my mind. whether it was in jail.
Consequences or
That's what I was just wondering.
Consequences.
Well, there was consequences, but also, strung out in a dope house and
Right.
not having any drugs. That could be a consequence too,
Yeah.
because
I believe
it's
that's a
brutal. It could be
it
brutal.
was
It's
never
brutal.
your first intention, but it became second nature. Like you got out with these intentions of I don't want to use no more. I'm gonna go the right way, and all of a sudden you found yourself at the dope house.
Absolutely.
And that went on
So-
for how long? While you didn't want this life anymore, but you were still doing that. That went
Years.
on years.
Yeah, I was homeless for about 6 years.
Okay.
I'd say it went on for most of that time. So it was a really rough life, for anybody. And I'm sure a lot of other people can
What
totally
ended
relate.
up being that once that 6 years? What does the end of that look like? Where you started finding some recovery? Like, what was that turning point or the straw that broke the camel's? Like, what
Did
was
you
it for
even try
That's-
recovery though? For the 6 years, or did you?
Didn't
when
really-
you got to the tail end, you're
No,
like,
I knew about meetings, but I didn't know about meetings.
Okay.
I knew one time, a long time ago, when I was in the service, they figured I had a drinking problem.
I went to a meeting.
Yeah, they told me no drinking, go to meetings.
Here's
and
your
I-
penalty.
Yeah, so it
Did
was.
they offer? In the military? Did they have?
This was back in '92,
Okay.
and
When the continents were still stuck together.
Did they have options?
What'd they look like
I guess
for
I've never
you?
talked to anyone in the military about recovery. At that time, did they have offerings for you to go to Alcoholics Anonymous, or did they have their own brand of recovery?
No, they had AA meetings on
did?
base there.
Okay.
Yep. So, but it was kind of you have to go there. So,
Wasn't
You
an
have to
option.
go
I'm-
there.
I'm
So
pretty-
okay, I guess I have to go.
yeah, for the
That's
first
the way I
time,
wa-
and then
yeah,
it was
yeah.
sign my card somewhere else at the bar or
Yep.
something.
Oh, I
you know.
signed my own card.
Yeah, but I was nowhere near the point of wanting to stop.
Yeah.
I thought I was still having fun and I wasn't causing any problems for
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah, no.
Let alone myself.
Right.
But the thing that broke this camel's back, and I'll tell you, I got to tell a quick story
Yeah.
because for me, anyways, obviously it's a beautiful story.
You not so much, but the
Me
story's
not so
beautiful.
much, but the
I
story's
love you,
pretty
brother.
awesome. But I'd been in and out of Anoka County many, many times, and with every release, it's checking with the PO and do that rigmarole. Like normal, I got out and I ran to the dope house. So I was at my friend's house, and there were sales going on there, and I actually tried, knuckling and grinning and biting my lip, trying not to use as people are coming and going. to this
Consciously knowing,
establishment.
like, I don't want to use.
I don't wanna
and I'm
use.
stuck
Fighting
here.
it. Fighting it.
Yeah. Okay.
Like every smart addict or alcoholic, it's all going on around me, but I think I could still resist it.
Of course. Yeah.
I am the
I can't do
nucleus of
this.
the atom. I am the nucleus of the atom.
Exactly. I'm in charge, right?
Right.
And I did that for several days, and that was painful, and I did use, and it was straight to the bottom again, stealing cars and doing all kinds of stupid stuff, and even my friend who was selling drugs out of the house at that time told me, dude, you gotta check in with your PO, man. You can't live like this, and it's bad when this type
When the
of
dope
dealers.
man,
Yeah.
when the dope man's telling you, "Hey, man,
Yeah.
you should check what you're doing."
And I promised I wasn't trying to get free stuff off him, so he didn't want to get rid of me for that reason. He's a good friend. He's a good friend of mine to this day, and yeah, he's
So he
still
was a
has-
friend. He cared about you.
He did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And so I decided to do that, and Anoka County is where I went. I took a bus up there, and I was really high at the time, and I remember tooling around all day long trying to wear this off like that would work. And I knew I'd have to get in there before close, so I went in there and I sat down in front of the PO, and I said, "Don't act like you're loaded. Don't act like you're loaded." Well, as soon as you say that, you're acting like
Yeah,
you're loaded,
yeah, yeah.
But something popped into my head, and this is where God stepped into my life for me, my higher power, 100%. And I mean, I'm getting goosebumps now, and it's awesome. I'm sitting there, and before she could say anything, because this isn't me that would say this, so that's the only thing I can think of. Before she could say anything, I said, "Listen, I have to get right. I have to get my life back. I can't keep living like this."
When was this? This was.
I'd say a couple months. My sobriety date's 7/19/09, so I would say this was like 5 something.
Okay.
09.
Yeah, in 09.
So a few,
Yep.
okay.
That makes Curtis an old timer.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I don't know about
So
that.
I didn't mean to cop block your story. I just am trying to put some
No,
time
not
on
at all.
this. So
Not
this
at all.
was quite a ways after military,
Yep.
and you've been through the ditches.
Yeah, since
and
'92,
running through just hell.
we done run up to '09.
Yep.
Fucking Bob.
Yeah.
So yes, you're telling. I kind of rewind. You were at the. You're there trying not to be high, but the PO sits down. First thing you say is what? No.
I let her know that I can't be living like this. I need a better life, and the only way for me to do that is if I'm 100% honest with you about anything and everything, without fear of any kind of retaliation or sending me back. You know, I need to be able to communicate to you honestly without any tension.
Awesome, you're going to prison. No, I'm
Well,
teasing.
and that's-
no.
and that's what I
a
told
long-time
her.
PO?
That's-
was this someone
that's
you
what-
were a PO you had for a while?
No, I just sat down. It was the first time I met her.
No. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I said,
That's actually a good thing, I think. I think that can be a very good
Well, let's
thing.
hear the second part of
Yeah,
the story.
let's-
and,
Get in there.
No.
and it was a good thing. That's why it was a God thing, because for me, I don't want to be honest with nobody.
Right.
You know, I'm an addict. I'm an
Right.
alcoholic. You know, what's mine is mine, and I'm sheltered and I'm secretive, and I don't need to tell you nothing. And if you want to know something from me, I'll probably really shade that
Yeah,
story for you. And so for those words to come out of my mouth was really, you know, I knew I was at the
Oop,
bottom.
what did you do?
Yeah. Well,
I was
no,
thinking something. Did I say that out loud?
I
I've
said,
never done anything like this up to that point.
Never.
Okay.
No. And I said, if that works for you, let's do this thing because I really need it. And if it doesn't work for you, I can go do time. I'll finish out my sentence
I'll
because
execute,
just get it done with. And she said, I think I can do that. And we already took a levels UA. This is going to be a UA that counts for you. Are you going to pass it or fail it? And I said, I'm going to fail it. And she said, okay, well, we'll just scrape it clean and this will be your new levels UA.
Higher power.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
And
So they made that your baseline. And
That was
from
my
there, you
baseline.
had to start getting better.
yep. Well, almost.
Yeah. But
Here.
there's still a little time between this and your
As the
sober
plot
day.
thickens.
Yeah.
She was almost pregnant.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, but honestly, at that point forward, she knew that I was homeless. She knew I didn't have a cell phone or money, and she told me what they say in a lot of the rooms is that I think you guys mentioned it earlier that if you can find your drugs, you've got the determination to do whatever else you need to do, right? So she said, I know you can call your dope guy. So every go put in for a Rule 28, and until you get into treatment, I want you to call this office number every night. Leave me a message.
brother?
Let you know. Pretty much nobody was there, so I left a message.
What is a Rule 28? Is that like a Rule
25.
25? Oh,
Rule
okay,
25.
I thought you said 28.
Yeah, you were off by 3.
Did I say 28?
Whatever.
Oh,
I
I
thought it
am
was something
getting
different. Or-
I am getting old.
So she was like,
Well, anyway, the
basically,
Rule
like,
30.
Elena, we're cracking her up tonight.
so she's like, I want you checking in every night. Like, you
Yep.
got the means to get your
It's
dough.
your
I know you're
folks' home.
homeless, blah, blah, blah. She's being cool, but also laying down some rules.
Absolutely. Call me every night. Let me know that you're free and that you're alive. Basically, is all she said. She said, I'm not going to UA you because I know that won't count. That won't matter. You
Right.
probably won't stay straight. But I want you to do your best and get into treatment, and then we'll start from
She
there.
was cool. Higher power shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That's
So,
awesome.
and
Someone
that's-
on your side, really on your side.
And that's what opened the
cool.
door for me.
Yep.
So,
Do you think it was that moment when you sat down? It was just that. It sounds like that was kind of like a catalyst. Like you decided to be honest for what the first time in a real long time,
real long time.
and from there, just everything kind of changed.
Everything.
Because a lot of times we talk about this, like what was that moment? Like people talk about it being a bottom. People talk about someone died or consequences. There's always X, Y, Z why you made that choice. But like, can you put your finger on it right now? What made you had these plans of being like you're not high. You sat down with all these other things, and now you mentioned something about higher power. But what was that reason you decided to just tell the truth, and everything changed from there? Do you know why?
I have no idea. I was sick of everything.
I
know,
think
I was
it's
sick of
because
the-
your heart
Yeah,
jumped out in front of your head, because our head gets us in trouble.
you're probably right.
And that's I really believe that my recovery dwells in my heart, and my using dwells between my ears.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That
My
monster
crazy,
between my
yeah,
ears.
the monster between my
It's one of my
ears.
biggest enemies.
Bad neighborhood at night. Don't go in there.
I
alone.
share about this a lot.
In the daytime, too,
We had
Bob.
Rob.
Yeah, in the daytime is right.
Rob was on our show and he talked about being at war with his brain, and like I'm like, it didn't click for a while. He's like, I'm at war with my brain constantly, and it's like what you're saying. It's like the thing between my ears always is we've been taught this right way. We know right from wrong.
Right.
But my head still, there's times where I want to make a bad choice.
It's the bizarrest thing that I can feel stuff in my soul
Yes.
and in my heart that
But our
I
head-
know, but all of a sudden I'm going over here.
Yeah. Our
I
heads
don't want
just
to
are
go over
telling
there,
us
but
something
you're
else.
going over here.
So that whole thing about being at war with your brain, it's like I understand it. Like I won't word it that way for me personally, but there's something going on where why is my mind making up the wrong choice first? It doesn't mean I'm acting on it. You brought that up earlier. Our actions, like Kyle's actions, they align with the shit he's saying nowadays. Like he does show up. Like Kyle, could you imagine maybe 4 years ago bringing a room full of people cookies and Red Bull just because? Like, was that something you did? Just be, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know you from before.
I mean, if they had drugs,
like I said, for nothing in
for
return.
nothing in return, no.
That's what I mean. Like,
There you
is
go.
that
ulterior
where does that come
motive?
from?
Where
Serious.
does it come from?
That's what I mean.
Where does it come from?
And like, do we even need?
It's
to
how
question it?
I'm wired, boys.
It was all active manipulation. That's
Sure. Yeah, there was
always
a couple pretty
manipulation.
girls in the room. No,
I mean, cookies, you know, bring cookies. Everybody loves cookies, so.
I don't know. It's just these things I see. I see myself sometimes doing things that I look back and I'm like, I want to. There's no way I'd have done this unless I was getting something out of it.
Oh man, perfect example today, man. So
100%.
I'm at work today at Jimmy John's. You know, I go back to go take my apron off, and there is $60 just sitting on the ground. And first thought, dude, there's where's the cameras at? You know, I'm
Right,
looking around
right.
looking for
First
cameras.
thought, wrong.
I'm looking for cameras. Literally
Always.
picked up the money, and I was like, "Where's the cameras?" Looking for the cameras still. And I'm like, "Hold on, man, this is a trap." My addiction right now is trying to trap me, man. You know, and
Trying to set me up already.
literally, you know, if it was 4 years ago,
Oh shit.
that was my money. I was going out.
It would
Would the dope man have been on the phone
ground to
before you even
pocket.
picked it
Dope
up?
man, yeah.
Ground to pocket.
My
The
apron
dope
would have been
man.
off. I would have been in the bathroom where I was already gone, and I would
Yeah.
have been on the phone with the dope man trying to figure out when I was going to
Right.
get it fixed. So
Right.
So what happened? Who got the
I
money? Did
ended
you
up
get
bringing
to
it
keep
to my manager, and the first thing she was like, "Oh, it must be one of the delivery people or someone else's." Man, it turned out to be one of my coworkers, sweet old lady, man, and really glad I turned it in, man. But I tell you, I still get those thoughts all the time. You know, that being at war with my mind, it's like a constant thing, man. I'll get mad about someone pulling the dang freaking bus thing, man, because they need to get off the bus. I'll be like, what gives you the right, man? Like, I gotta get off
gotta
of my
be
stop.
somewhere.
I'm not ready to stop yet.
That bondage itself kicks in when you're not wanting it to.
Yeah,
a
man,
lot
that's
of times.
the selfishness of my mind is just
Right.
unreal, man. You know.
And that's that spiritual
Bryce
warfare.
really
When-
opened me up to that bondage of self, like
Oh, yeah.
the whole bigger picture of it. It's like we
How
get-
I act, think, and feel is in direct proportion to what I'm doing.
say that again, Bob.
How I act, think, and feel is how in direct proportion to how spiritually fit that I am.
So sometimes, before recovery, I couldn't see, and I say this a lot to people in my life who are dealing with people who still have addiction problems.
When you're
but
not on that spiritual walk, there's no
You
selfish
can't see past your
self-centeredness.
nose.
Yeah,
Like, this
selfish
is the world. Like,
self-centeredness
everything revolves around
is the bubble you're in.
Yes.
That's
and
my
I think
bubble.
until I was out of that cloud, I'd have never even realized it. Like, I still share about this.
I would
that-
have bent down, picked $60 up, put it
Yeah,
in my
it was
pocket,
mine.
and it
Like
would have
you
come
said,
back
that was
out
mine.
at the dome.
my money.
There's no
That's
second
it.
question about it. Like, this is my money.
Yep, you make
I
perfect
found it, man.
sense.
I
Kyle.
grew up with founders, keepers,
That's
losers,
my
sweepers.
yeah. That's my money now.
So we already got our first question from our past. This is a guest from last week. She was a great guest. Ruth writes,
Ruth,
we're going to start this one with Curtis. Says, well, she said Tim, but Curtis, can you talk about the difference between willpower and faith surrender? How do you tell the difference? So between willpower and then faith and surrender, like, how can you tell the difference?
I guess I don't really.
I know. I'm trying
understand the
to word it. It says, Tim, can you talk about the difference between willpower and faith hyphen surrender? How do you tell the difference? So, Bob,
Well, willpower is our own will, and it's not God's will. It's willpower. It's something that I feel deep inside of me that I'm going to use to help benefit me, whether it's selfishly, if I'm not spiritually fit, or if I'm spiritually fit, I try to do it, have something benefit me healthy.
okay,
then-
wait, stop with that. Now, Ruth, if I'm off, just write in again. Willpower. Now, I hear that and I think,
Some people say I quit on sheer willpower.
Right.
Like quit using on sheer willpower.
Right. And the true definition that I've heard of is faith is a belief with experience behind that belief. So if someone is walking in faith or acting in faith, I see I experience watching them do the next right thing. So that strengthens my faith and lets me know that, you know what, if it's
works.
working for them, then I can do it. And then all of a sudden I start experiencing good things happening, like good things are happening to them. And next thing you know, my faith is growing.
Faith
So-
equals experience plus belief.
Boom. So there's some big fan here. His name Alicia says, "Love you, Curtis." Mini Alicia Lily. Okay, Ruth says, "Yes, this is what I mean. Often willpower does not work." So I guess you kind of shared about it a little, like after
Self is what will.
self.
Yeah.
Yeah, bondage of self.
Self willpower.
So like when you went in to see that PO and you came clean for who knows why, you were just tired, ready to not be that way anymore. From that point moving to your clean date, like was willpower going to work for you, do you think? Could it have?
No. I think the moment I walked into that office and those words come out of my mouth, I think I surrendered a big chunk of it. I didn't fully have the knowledge or the understanding or capacity of what it truly meant to surrender willpower, but I knew that was the start. If that-
Here's willpower for me. I'm kicking my ass. Do you mind? Get out of my way. That's willpower for me. That's my willpower.
But, you know-
no one can beat me up worse than me.
You know, I will say that what was really solid for me in early sobriety was that I was fortunate enough. There was a couple things. One was finding a group right away. I was lucky enough to get into the group.
He pointed at Bob.
Yep, Bob knows the group I'm talking about.
A good group of guys that are in recovery.
They say
a
stick
meeting
with
hall.
the wiener. Yep.
A meeting hall, and they were
Stick
pretty
with the winners.
pretty rigid, and you know, and
I'm
I
just
was
us young. You hear how the younger guys are, the girls and boys are laughing.
bitch
But
slap
okay,
you.
You know,
yeah,
I was
sorry, Curtis.
sobriety bitch slap you.
Well, that we weren't talking about your motto, Elena.
that's Elena's motto.
I don't know if you heard her, but she's talking about wieners or something. So Curtis was like, in early recovery, and you know what? They told me the same. Like early recovery, find a group that's like doing that deal, doing the
Do
thing.
the deal.
So keep going. I cut you off.
Nope, and that's fine. This group was pretty regimented and solid, you know, and that's exactly what I needed. There's another higher power thing for me. I just happened to be invited over to this group, and
Great group of guys.
yes. And when I came in, when I came in, I was a kid. I mean, literally, I had my infant style brain. Right? You know what I mean?
Emotionally, yeah.
I was.
Psychologically.
Yep. And when they said do whatever it takes and follow direction, I was an open book. I don't know what opened me. You know, it was right from the gate. I was, what do you want me to do? So when I came into this group, you know, they kind of sat me
Surrender
down. It
opened
surrendered.
you.
Absolutely. They sat me down, surrounded me, and they first stepped me. They told me, okay, now the meeting's over.
Did it hurt?
Now we got fellowship time. Well, it kind of did because my ego was like, I should already know how to socialize. With
When I
people.
think I know some of this
You know
group,
what I mean?
yeah, this group
Right.
of guys, they sure will hurt your ego.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'll tell you about yourself.
You better
They did,
believe
too.
they will.
For one of the first things was, Chris,
You're like, hey.
you don't know anything.
Right, and but they're being serious.
Absolutely.
And you're in there like wide-eyed, bushy tail,
"Ow,
ready to
my
learn
eye."
something, and they're like, you don't know shit.
My eye.
How dare you talk to me like that?
Right.
Yeah, feelings are, you know, you're so terminally unique that you're special,
Did
and then you
anything
walk
like
in
that?
and you hear that shit.
Did
Oh, and they tell you
anything-
that you're not special.
When,
So that
and
kinda
when they-
happened to
sit
you
down,
too, Kyle?
You're not special. Oh yeah, man. Like I
Good.
used to literally
Because
think
we need
that,
to have that.
yeah,
you know, people in the rooms were, you know, sharing things that were directly relevant in my life, and that they were actually sharing to shit on me and, you know,
That's a di- you
to
know-
offend me and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
Man, I've even approached someone after. I was like, man, why are you talking shit about me? You think you're that special? You're not that special. I was talking about my own shit.
There you go. And sometimes we have to learn that the hard way is that your brain's sitting there telling you like, why is he talking shit about me? No, that's my story.
There you go.
Like,
New
you just
nickname.
took such offense
Hard
to hearing some
way.
shit that's so directly
Sensitive.
aligned with what your situation is. That shit still happens to me, bro. Like it still happens to me. We had someone walk out of the meeting a week and a half ago, walked out, and I went out and talked to her like everything's good, and she's like, I'll
Heck no.
paraphrase, fuck that. How dare he put me on blast? Was her words. And I was like, well, what are you talking about? Well, this person shared about how, I'm not saying names. This person shared about, it's tough for me to wake up in the morning. I hate going to work, and then I have to be with my kid, and then at the end of the day, like, I have to deal with bills. And like directly, the next person shared, like, since recovery's been working well, and I'm listening to other people, take suggestions, working with my sponsor, like, I love getting up in the morning, and like, it's a joy to go to work. I love going to work. And then, like, I'm even so fortunate, like, I look forward to playing with my kids after work, and then I get to pay all my bills. She heard it as exactly indirect to, and it wasn't. This person who shared it was from the heart, and that's just what was his story, what was going on. But it's that easy, like our brains.
See how it directly, see how closely associated we are without even realizing
Yes.
it.
Yeah, it's when that
we walk in the
spirituality
door.
aspect's not in it, man, where it's all selfishness.
Oh,
You literally
my
think
God.
Boy's ahead of his
you
time
literally
sometimes.
think that everybody is talking. I think people are talking shit about me.
I'm offended.
Well, if you
Yep.
don't want to hear your story, then don't go to a meeting.
You'll hear it.
Whatever's going on in my life, when I go to a meeting, there's something in there that will
Aligns.
jump out that aligns with my life.
Oh, instantly
whether it's
when Kyle started
psychological or
sharing,
higher
I'm like,
power.
boom, ow,
Yeah.
my eye.
Yeah, it's
I
like-
remember that.
How can you be rolling through that the same time I am? It's like that's that God thing that I keep talking about.
And then you
the
think,
higher
man, like,
power
who
thing.
was I talking to about this, man? Who's talking
Right,
shit
who
to
did-
this
who
person?
aired out my business?
Hey, who, like, man, now I need to shut up in the meetings, man.
I
People
thought
are
they
talking
said
about me.
amenity.
But see, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Somebody got to be talking amenity.
Oh, Bob.
That's how solutions are found, though.
That's right where it's going. Go ahead.
You know what I mean? It's
That's it.
The longer we keep coming, like I hear that all the time. Like the longer I go, I'm my poor me. We get caught up in that. My life, this is going on. I'm dealing with this. Life shows up. But you keep coming back, and all of a sudden you hear someone else share. Like you hear how they made it through a situation that you're dying over. Like we come into these rooms hurting, and we are terminally unique in our heads.
You
My
better
story
believe
is
we
so
are.
goddamn
Oh.
special, and you guys need to hear what I have to say. When at the end of the day, there's 30 people next to me with that same story.
Right.
It's going through that same problem, and they make it out the other
You're
side.
just another round rubber tire. But I'm a Michelin, man. That's me. Terminal uniqueness.
well, there's a special case for Bob though.
Yeah,
He's
no, yeah,
got
he's-
terminally unique.
Oh, wait a minute. I am round and black just like the rest of the tires. I just got a different
Oh,
name on me.
bobbers.
I'm Bob and you're Curtis. Oh, that's how that works.
But like the longer you keep coming, because I know you're like a daily meeting goer for the most part.
For the most part, man, when I wasn't working, I was going to a meeting every single day, sometimes too, just to fill the time.
That's the way, man. That helps.
And I share about that.
Stay
Early
plugged
recovery,
in
I was
early.
able to.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And God, were we with?
You start getting a life
Well,
outside
life start- yes.
of recovery.
Yes, where you're
and that's
eventually
when
you're
you
not
need
gonna
to
be able to.
Then you got to work on balance. We know all about balance, don't we, Lane?
Were we just talking about that? Was that you and me talking about
Balance.
for the first 2 years? Oh, it was last week, I think. You're able to do it, so you do it. I didn't have a sponsor and said you got to do 90-90. He didn't say you have to do this, that. He's like, you better do what's working for you. If you can make it to 7 meetings, if you can make it 15 meetings a week, do it. If it works for you, keep doing it.
What's making you the happiest at this point and making you feel the healthiest?
Right, the healthiest. But
Yeah.
eventually, things are responsibilities start taking place.
Next thing you know,
family.
oh, geez, I got to do this. I'm
Yeah.
supposed to do that. Oh, geez, I got to do that.
And I'm
okay.
still learning
well,
about balance.
I
Yeah, I
know
feel-
we've talked about that.
Yeah.
I feel like balance is literally something that I have to try every single day. It's not something that I'm like, oh man, I got my time right, I got my money right, I've got these bills, I got to be paid at this time,
I've
I got
been doing
this
this a
meeting
while.
on Saturday,
You're
Sunday,
right.
man. Like really, like
Attaboy.
every day I wake up. The third step for me is something I almost say to myself every single day. I'm like, all right, HP, here we go. I'm turning my will over to you. Everything's gonna work out, right? That to me is like finding balance. Like, I don't know how many times throughout the day I'm like overcomplicating something. I'm making up a story. I'm making up something that's gonna happen when this happens, and it's like, realistically, none of that stuff's gonna happen,
And you're not. It's not being in the moment.
like
when
I'm gonna
you're
miss,
doing that.
I'm gonna miss out on something, or I'm not gonna go do
Yeah.
this, whatever. It's
I'm
just like,
always
it's
feeling
like,
like I
man,
wanna
like,
miss
oh,
out.
none of this stuff is actually happening right now. And like that balance thing is like just finding it every single day in the moment, living life. Balance is every single day. It's not something that I think I will ever have complete.
will.
It's,
It'll come.
I think it's just something I give myself daily.
It comes,
Yeah.
it comes in. It comes and goes. It
But I
comes
can tell
in.
you this,
It
after
comes
4
in.
years, I
yeah.
get old timers who still sit me down because they love me and will tell me like, Tim, you're not.
You said
you're
you were
pie
gonna do-
facing
yeah.
me. It's basically like people. I
Pie
surround
face.
myself with people that will call me out, that won't co-sign my shit, and we'll have that hard conversation. I'm telling you, 4 years later, and they're like, "You said you'd be here at 10, and it's 11:30, and you haven't even called me. What the fuck?"
We're
And call me on it, but like I'm still you.
because then
You
that person
surround
feels
yourself.
offended
Yeah.
and hurt.
And that's
you
a
know
hard
what I mean?
conversation.
Yeah, those are hard conversations.
Though, having those people in my life have definitely kept me, going. Because I was getting out of IOP at New Way and
New way.
having to start paying my own way, and I decided, it'd be smart. Let's get 2 jobs. Let's not just get one. Let's get 2 jobs at the same time. So literally, I got these 2 jobs and getting trained in for both the jobs at the same time. And everyone's like, dude, you're gonna burn yourself out. You're gonna burn yourself out. That's what it's gonna do. You're not gonna make your meetings and all this other shit, man. Tell you what, man, if you're out there listening right now and you're one of those people, I appreciate you, but I made it through. I made it through that training. I like proving people wrong, man. Anyone that tells me something that I can't do it, I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna do it.
And
If
that
it's
works
the
for
better
some
good.
of us.
It does, man.
And I know your
thrive off those
sponsor,
kind of
he's the
things.
type who won't co-sign your shit.
No, man,
And he's
he-
the type who maniacally kind of have you figured out yourself. In a way, he will tell you something. He will answer something where you're gonna end up finding it out. Like, I don't know how. My sponsor did a lot of that, where it's gonna be a deal like, if you really think that's what's gonna work for you, and you basically know, like, all right, wait, should I better get back to the drawing board?
What makes you question it?
Sounds
Right,
like
you
you
know
know
what I
him
mean?
pretty well,
Think about
actually.
it.
So
Yeah, I like I said, from day one, I've known him. Curtis, did you get a sponsor right away in the rooms? Like, and if so, do you still have the sponsor? And how do you work with your sponsor? And talk about that. A few questions I just threw at you.
I did get a sponsor right away. Well, I'd say it was a couple months after getting in. I kind of had that group that I was telling you about. They kind of strung me solid.
Was that the one where they get met at someone's house? That family group, that one deal, or
Cold
something?
blue, cold blue, cold blue.
Cold blue.
No, it was Cold Blue. It was the dogs.
The one way.
it's the
Oh,
dog,
garage.
yeah.
Garage dogs.
Okay.
So, and it was, they taught me how to appreciate family, how to
Oh,
interact
that's
with
right.
people. They held me behind after meetings and made me play foosball and have fun till 2 in the morning.
That's the other thing.
They taught me this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and I resisted. Once the meeting was over and we chit chatted, I wanted to get out, and that was
Fellowship.
it don't stop there, Curtis. You need to learn how to. I mean, I had to relearn everything,
Yeah.
how to interact with people. I used to have this envious thought, because I take the city bus everywhere. How do these 2 strangers come in onto a bus, sit down next to each other, start talking fluidly in conversation,
And smiling the
how
whole
does
time.
that? Yeah, how does that work? I would have no idea what to say to a stranger.
I'd be wondering if they wanted to take something.
So you got a
Well,
lot
you know
from
what
the
I mean?
dogs. Like they helped
So,
you basically
absolutely,
become back a member of society type of deal.
Yep, they're really hardcore for me, and that's what I
1%ers of
needed.
recovery.
Yeah, pretty much,
Yeah.
and that's
No, that's how they introduced themselves to me. Is like we're the 1%ers of recovery.
and that's what I needed for the first year.
That works for a lot of people. Need
Some
that
people,
shit.
yeah, exactly.
So sponsor, yep. Actually, Bob here is my sponsor currently.
Sorry to hear that, but okay, no.
Hiya,
It's a blessing to have Bob
May you be
out there as
blessed.
a sponsor. In
is.
direct, he's my grand sponsor. So isn't that what you'd be called?
Yep,
You're my sponsor.
I'm just a
He's a
guy.
grandpappy.
I'm putting my pants on
And I
one
try
leg
to,
at a
I really
time.
try to like put a magnifying glass on this for newer people, or mainly people that are like listening now that don't know what recovery is. That thing you were sharing about like sticking after to have fun, like before. Can you remember those days where you just didn't even think there was something that was going to be enjoyable about life in recovery? Was that ever in your? How am I asking this? Was that a concern of yours, or did you even care? Did you think that was something, or was that a thought for you about the aspect of enjoying yourself in recovery in the early days?
Honestly, that didn't even cross my mind. I was so worn out to the point where I just wanted to be comfortable again. That was it. I mean, it's kind of depressing now that you think about it. That's the only thought I had was I wanted to be comfortable.
Right. No, and
it
that's-
was just horrible, And so my thought of having fun or any of that other jazz, I couldn't even think that far ahead. And that's one of the things that was so perfect about this group was there's an individual in there who I respect to this day and am so appreciative of, and he taught me that you know, we hear it all the time in the meetings and in the rooms and, you know, in interaction with each other. You know, you got to live for the moment. You know what I mean? You live just for today, that kind of jazz like that.
All we have
But
is today.
he broke it down for me, and he's like, you don't even got today. You've got right now. He's like, and that made things so much easier for me to wrap my head around and comprehend, is that all I got to do is focus right now. I can't even focus to the end of the day, you know, when I came in, you know, and, you know, sponsorship, that is such, I mean, the way it was taught to me was, like for me, you know, I don't even know if I could say what I'm a member of here.
You
we
can
do
say
that
whatever
on
you want.
podcast?
It's your anonymity. Okay?
Yep.
Like in
This
traditions.
is a recovery podcast, so you say what
is this
you need to
considered
say.
it's
public?
No, this is
No.
a private group.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, so you know, I'm a member of AA. I'm
Oh yeah.
you know hardcore drug addict as well. But I found a solution in Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcohol was there at the beginning. It's been there at the end. Blah blah blah. Right. But I found a solution there, and I just lost what I was gonna say.
I know we were so worried about making sure to know what group you were in. We were talking about fair. I'll walk us back to that point.
Yeah.
Where we're talking about having fun and recovery. All you want to do is be comfortable, and then we talked. Now you're gonna make me worry about it.
Sponsorship.
You were talking about sponsorship, how important it was.
Yep.
Living to now,
Yep.
and then.
Oh,
the-
yep.
there
Minute
we
by
go.
minute. Yep. There we go.
There we go. Back to it.
See, I did do a lot.
Pitter patter. Pitter patter. Let's get at her.
I did do a lot of drugs.
Hey, well, no, you were a member of AA, but you're starting
Yep.
to tell my story. But go ahead.
Trains on track. Trains on track. Coming in.
Bob's
Track
gonna
9.
take it off. No, but minute by minute, I mean that's the way I had to grasp life because I couldn't take it any farther than that, and that worked really good for me. Yeah. So as far as sponsorship goes, I had to. My first sponsor told me, he sat down and he put the AA book in front of me and he said, and he showed it right in there where it says, this is our basic text. You know, he said, box that in and highlight those two words, basic text, because this is a textbook. for
Boom.
life.
We're
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
here to learn.
Yeah. And you
That's
don't
what
ever,
this is about.
you
These
don't
are
ever go to a
texts.
school with a
Right.
textbook
Yeah.
and you're told to go sit in a room and read it and learn.
Right.
You know what I
They
mean?
guide you through the textbook.
Absolutely.
Duh.
That's what a
So-
sponsor is, kind of a teacher
Yeah.
in a classroom.
A step coach and a mentor. A mentor for steps. That's all it is. I'm not your banker. I'm not your lawyer. I'm not your divorce
I'm
attorney.
not your friend.
Not
I
your
mean,
PO.
and at
What?
The end, no,
Oh,
at the end
Bob,
of the
we can't be
day,
friends now.
no. At the end of the day, you build friendships. But like, I don't know, Kyle knows this about me either. But like,
But I like Kyle.
I was I was a junkie, dude, an IV junkie. Okay, that's not where I started. Curtis, like, I found a solution in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. That's my story. I did go to NA, like, because I thought my head told me that's what I needed to do because I was druggy, I never stopped going to NA, and I started going to NA, but for some reason, me personally, I found this solution. Maybe the stars aligned, got a sponsor. I don't look, what do they say, don't look a gift horse in the eye or
Mouth.
or butt. Whatever the
Whatever
case is, I don't really care. Like, it worked. Like, for some reason, I found those rooms, and it worked for me. I'm able to go.
I don't care how it works, just so
Exactly.
it works. You know,
That's what I share about with the show. It's like,
I tell people there's not by only one way to which one can recover. There's
as
just
long as
not.
we get to that end finish line,
Yeah.
the freedom from active addiction, like, that's the one promise in NA. Like, in
Honesty,
AA, there's
open-minded,
tons of-
and willingness on any one of those, any one of those A type recovery
Ken White.
programs. Kenny-
Oh wait, no,
Ken
no,
W.
Ken W. Sorry. Whoops. daisies. See, we're still learning as we go, as this show will grow.
Is there a
but-
Ken Black out there too?
The thing about it is, there's so many different routes to that finish line, and whatever works for you, at the end of the day, take advantage. It's here. It's free. Like, this recovery thing doesn't cost anything, but to give it to someone else. When that, once you've got it, you got to
Give it out.
It's time.
look at
It's
Zoner
time.
here. It's getting a little late.
No, it's just time. I'm processing what you're saying.
You taught me it, dude.
I know.
You're the one who taught me that.
I was in there so deep I had a snorkel on, folks, and Timmy pulled me up out of the pool because I was thinking.
Yeah, I seen it.
I was thinking about that, and it's just, learning how to be in the moment. And when I'm in the moment, I can learn how to deal with the things that come my way or to process and to use that to the benefit of my health and my recovery. I've done today. I fall short all the time, but guess what? I keep working, and We're not done till we're laying still in the coffin,
That's when
and
you
then
graduate.
and that's when you graduate.
That's when you're cured.
Yeah, that's when you're cured.
You can be cured, but that's when you graduate.
Yeah, that's when you. Yeah,
I know you're not.
Not till the day I'm dead.
No,
is
I know.
when I'm
I
cured.
misspoke. So, Kyle,
Yeah, you did.
I told you to bring a couple topics to the show. What do you want to talk about? Just a hard left turn. I
Don't
like what
say
you spoke about
Grandma's
with-
Hemi
Thank you
Cuda.
for what you said about sponsorship. That was spot on too. And everyone's stories, they're different.
I don't know, man. Talk a little bit about higher power and
HP.
What my experience has been with that and finding what my higher power was.
Tell us about yours.
So my definition today of what a higher power is something that brings me connection with other people, something that brings me outside of myself and brings me closer to other people, out of that selfishness, all of that. I first originally decided my higher power would be music. Because music was something that I could do with other people, made me feel good. It got me out of my head, got me out of the negative self-talk. But then that also aligned with where my drug use was. I would use and play music. So as I worked with my sponsor and finally got to the second step and finished the second step, I came to the conclusion that my higher power was a few different things. One being the meetings, because I find connection in meetings. I find opportunities to go outside of myself in the meetings. I find opportunities to make deeper connections with other people, because that's really what I'm thriving for at the end of the day is getting to know other people. So that's higher power was something that always hit me hard, because I was a young guy that grew up in a family that did nothing about religion. We didn't believe in a God. We didn't believe in anything like that.
It was never pushed on you.
It was something that we get freaked out by the word Jesus. That was just it's just how it was for me when I was growing up. You were laughed at if you
Right.
believed in Jesus.
was
all
a
that
joke.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just so confusing. So yeah, man, higher power today for me, I don't know. It's really something that you can't see it. I can't physically touch it. I can't. It's there. I can't physically touch it. I find a lot of connection and a lot of growth I've found in the rooms, whether it's NA or AA. I've come to this club and have been to Jitters.
Yeah.
When I can make a meeting like that. I'm not someone that just says, yeah, NA is the way, man. But it's like he would like
What's
Bob
working
was
for
saying, what's
you,
working for you,
man?
man? Like there's plenty of this is the land of 10,000 treatment centers, 10,000 lakes, and 10,000 grain mills or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Dave was sharing about that today.
Something like that.
He's
man.
always got some slick shit to say.
Finding the higher power thing, man, and getting past that third step was just kind of accepting that, connection is something that's going to keep me clean. Something that I absolutely need. I thrive from it, man. I'm the kind of person that literally thrives when I've got people around me that are doing the same thing I'm doing. We're looking for this recovery thing together. It's not all about me anymore. It's about what we're going to do next. What's the next big move for all of us?
I do a morning meditation every morning, and most mornings.
Every morning.
Yeah, and pretty religiously, and I've been doing it for about 10 years now, and I post it on Facebook because it gives me a good thought for the day. It helps me get started on my day, and I noticed that when I started sharing it years back, people were like, "Wow, keep doing that," blah blah blah. So, I mean, people not even close to recovery.
Yeah.
The people that I work with, and they go, "I didn't know you were so religious," and I said, "I'm not." And that's the thing is, there's organized religion, and then there's spirituality, and you can derive spirituality from the program of NA, CMA, CA,
Any of the
AA, any one of those.
Al-Anon,
Yeah.
like-
And that's what's cool is one of my morning meditations just said, it said, when the teacher looked down at the child and said, "What do you think of God?" The child looked back and said, "He's not a think, he's a feel."
Whoa.
And that's deep.
That's deep. Yeah. Grab that snorkel, bro.
Yeah, and it really is for a lot of us. It is for me. My higher power is a feel. And that's why I say I feel when I'm sitting in meetings, I'm sitting in front of God with skin on. Our higher power, I believe, works, this is my belief, works in and through you if you let him. So when you have those spiritual ears and eyes and you're not full of self, you can
Hear it.
really hear that in these meetings and from these rooms. And so that's where my higher power was the group at the beginning as well.
Yep,
Because, man, I had no control and I was scared shitless, and I came to, when I finally surrendered, like you said too, Curtis, I came into a meeting one day and I'd been relapsing for 2.5 years over and over and over again. And I sat down and I just got into tears and they go, "Are you okay?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm where I need to be. And I know that now, but I don't know how to live my life. Will you please help me?" And that's the first step in recovery. That was total surrender and realizing that I was powerless.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
Wholeheartedly.
yeah, and that's that honesty, open-minded, and willingness. I was honest enough to tell the group. I was open-minded enough to be open to whatever they had to suggest to me, and I was willing to take those suggestions. So that's the how, that acronym how, honesty, open-minded, and willingness worked for me.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how it works for you, but that's.
Well, I think we've shared quite a bit about this. Is like we surround ourselves. You shared about it, Curtis, and it's like I've surrounded myself with, let's say, the winners. Let's just use that because to me, the winners in this program are people that are happy,
living in the solution.
They're
Boom.
in the solution. They're not. Their life's not about the problem. Because I can catch myself still worrying about the problem, and I call someone like Bob, and he'll remind me like, "Well, what's the solution?"
It's not the what, it's the how.
And it's what works. What and each person might be different. That might not work for everyone, but for me personally, with that, the solution, not dwelling on the problem, you're not going to fix shit. Right. If you're something's going wrong in your life, and whatever that problem is, yeah, sure, you might have to look at the problem to fix it, but you got to. What's the solution? Staying in the solution. These old timers, and that's what you are now, Bob, is an old timer in recovery. In recovery. Let's leave it at that.
Go change
Curtis,
my
you are too.
depends.
I don't know about timer, but he's old.
Cheryl says hi.
Ow, my eye.
Hi, Cheryl. Thanks for checking in.
Love you, Cheryl.
So basically, like, what I'm saying, like, we've got 13 years, 20. What are you at? 24 years, 6 months. Like, the ultimate goal.
And to me, he's the most important part of
Hey,
this, right in this room
I'll
right
learn
now
more
for
from
me.
him sometimes than
That's
I will
why
from
I
the two
say
of you. Like,
you started off, and I'm like, I'm all over.
Bob looked like a
listening to you
bobblehead.
guys.
He's like, he's just nodding up and down. Doing the
You know
work
that,
of man.
and that's a fact. Jumping back on a sponsorship again, and that's one of the huge joys and privileges of sponsoring somebody is watching somebody's eyes click and get it. You know what I mean?
Yes, that light bulb clicking.
Yeah, just watching that. Just even in some of the smallest, seemingly insignificant instances
You
throughout
better
the day,
believe it.
it's like.
And we're over
You know
here
what I mean?
giddy as hell watching them do that, and they're like, they don't even realize.
Because, I mentioned it before, we're quick to forget it, our past, right? Our trials and tribulations and all that jazz. If I don't work with somebody else, I'm not going to remember with great clarity what it was like anymore.
That's
and
another
that's
facet of the
dangerous.
newcomer. Another facet of the benefit of a newcomer in the room. I share about that, and not to knock it, but that smell of a newcomer, that rotting, that lifestyle. Like, it's easy to forget that rearview mirror. It's not far away, one choice away, but it's easy to forget that. Like, that's what we don't want to go back to. That's just one of the facets of why a newcomer is so goddamn important. Like, that pulls back that memory of being homeless or not knowing where I'm going to sleep tonight or shit, I just ate some leftover garbage from out of the bin.
Yeah, you see these guys, they come, I mean, I was one of them where, you know, I wasn't bathing on a regular basis. I wasn't getting I mean, you could tell, you know, and
Yeah.
I didn't care what I wore if it had rips and tears. And
Burns.
sometimes my wife yells at me now because I don't care. But, you know, but the truth of the matter is I didn't care at all about my appearance or anything because
Right.
I didn't have a high opinion of myself. And then all of a sudden, you guys started teaching me to take care of myself.
Yeah, like you're saying with the GDs, they'll teach this thing. I always keep going back to this, but like this new
Have
way
things
of living.
changed for you significantly in how you take care of yourself and the things that you do?
167 pounds when I came into these rooms. I'm pushing 240
Here's
now.
a toothpick.
240 now.
You're as wide as he is tall, son. No, just kidding.
You're withered away.
I mean,
You're sick.
You
more
look healthy now. You look happy.
healthy, you know, and things have changed so dramatically in my life. Like I said at the beginning of
awesome.
this, I was a felon when I came in here, man. I was a felon. I was on probation. I managed to, you know, turn that around. I have relationships today. I had no relationship with my mom when I came into these rooms.
Like in 6 months' time, we're talking.
Well,
Less than that, almost.
I'd say over the last 3 years of me actually trying to do this, starting to go to meetings again. The first time I went to a meeting, I was like 14 or 15 years old. But for the last 3 years, I've been trying to figure this thing out. I've been going back out, coming back.
But this time is different.
Yeah, I wanted. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, that's what I want. What's different? Yeah.
What was different this last six? Like you're about to celebrate 6 months, or did you?
Yeah, about
just-
to celebrate 6
Okay,
months. About
what
14
was
days.
different 5.5 months ago? What I know you said you knocked off heroin, then you knocked off this, then you. What was different? What was it? Like, did you know?
Man, so I mean, for being in an outpatient treatment center 4 or 5 different times, every time I relapsed, I always went to inpatient treatment center because that's how it worked for me.
Okay.
You know, I relapsed. All right, it's time to go back. I'm gonna go hard for a couple weeks while I wait for my bed to open up, and then I'm gonna go. Now this time was different because I relapsed and I had made relationships. I had friendships in the rooms and also at my treatment that picked me up and were like, hey, we're gonna go up 2218. You relapse, so what? Let's go. Stop sitting in the shame and guilt. We're gonna get you out of this.
No one shot the wounded, and we
Yeah.
don't do that.
Y-
And
you know,
that's what.
So
helps.
another benefit of fellowship and bonding with others.
Exactly, and these people are true to this day to be in my life almost every day, man. They're talking to me every single day. We're talking back and forth. We're going to meetings. I just went to a meeting earlier today, and what was different this time was I had this support.
Network?
I had the network, not because before I came in, man, I was the person that sat at the back. I acted cool. I thought I was cool. I definitely still think I'm cool, but
You are cool, bro. Cool as a frozen turd in a punch bowl.
Boom.
that's one way to look at
But
it.
no, that was important to you.
It was,
Very
man. It
good
was,
way to look
It was
at
all
it,
about
but-
putting up the front, man. As long as I had the designer bags, I had the look, I had everything. People wanted what I had.
So
but
glad you're sharing about
realistically, man, like I wanted what they had. I wanted that happiness, that genuine smile, that thing that Curtis was talking about earlier. Seeing these two people just sit down on the bus and start talking, man. I wanted that. That was what was
Can't
different.
put a price on that.
I actually had those experiences because before I relapsed, I had 6 months clean time. I had right around 6 months, a little over 6 months, and I had that now. I had gotten a taste of what it was like to actually be a human being, to have.
Rather than a human doing.
That's deep, man. That is very deep.
I say it often.
Oh.
I'm so
so-
glad I'm a human being rather than a human doing. 'Cause
Yeah,
when I'm
you're at
using,
6 months.
That's what I'm doing.
You
doing,
relapsed,
doing.
and shit was. You got a taste of this happiness,
Yeah, yep. And
genuine, real happiness, of being Kyle.
that was the longest time I ever actually accumulated clean. It was
Nice.
6 months. And like the support was there, and it was my sponsor too, because I had a sponsor 2.5 years ago, and more or less I was just giving him bullshit. I was manipulating him because I wasn't really trying to work a program. More or less what I was trying to do was make it seem like I was doing okay. Keep everybody off my back. I didn't want you to get close to me. I didn't want you to know what was really going on. I didn't want you to let you know that I really needed help in that
hurting.
moment in time. But that's what was really different was that I had that ability to be open. When I relapsed, man, it was one time. I shot up, dude, and it was like 5 minutes of, oh man, this is great. Back at it again. Let's go. But then it was like 10 minutes later, I was sitting there like, man, what am I gonna do tomorrow? I've got to tell everybody about this, man. This is gonna be shitty, man. I spent all night long thinking about how shitty of a decision I made right then and there.
For 5 minutes of
For
bliss.
5 minutes of
My
bliss,
little
man.
jacuzzi of shit. It smells so nice.
and to talk about a little bit further, that relapse, it was that day, right? So then about 2 weeks later, 0205 hits unknowingly, man. This was my non-biological daughter's birthday. that I-
0205.
That's my
date, okay.
Yep,
Okay.
0205. That was my non-biological daughter's birthday, and I had used again. It was 2 weeks later. Not even thinking about it, man. But like when they said those the seasons that your body's kind of used to, or your mind's used to, and everything. February is a shit show of a month for me.
August is mine. Was mine.
It's crazy.
So, like, my-
months like that.
Yeah, man. So like my daughter's birthday is 0226. My non-biological daughter that I raised was 0205, man. So I'm sitting here in February. I had relapsed in January. Went 2 weeks clean, and then I used again. And I was, I had that ability to be honest again. But this time was a little bit different. I had someone that one of my old friends, my quote unquote friends, just was like, "Hey man, where you at? You at work right now?" I'm like, "No, I'm at home. I'm at the sober house." She's like, "Man, well, can I stop by?" And I'm like, he's got some dope. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get in the car and be like, "Let me hit the dope." I know you got the dope, So I was like already and it was just like I wasn't even thinking about it because like as soon as he hit me up, I was like, he's probably got some dope. I'm gonna go do this.
Kind of like Curtis said earlier. It's like it was like not even. It was
in
just
that-
natural.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about
Yep.
anything, man. I was just like,
You
oh,
were thinking about it being a
hitting
relapse.
It's
me
like
up.
breathing in and out.
I know you got the
Yep.
dope. That's what we're gonna do, man. You're already out here. Let's do it. So, that was. It just happened. It happened so fast, and I ended up calling my sponsor in the morning. I was like, hey man, so I used again. I don't think that they're gonna keep me at this house as a house manager anymore. And he's like, well, what are you gonna do? You're gonna tell your peers. You're gonna tell your counselor. You're gonna tell your PO. And I was like, do I gotta do all that? And he's like, yeah, you gotta do all that.
Is that
Really?
the sponsor you have now?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not
yeah, yeah.
Matt
All
C,
right, that
man.
makes sense.
Matt
That
C.
makes sense.
He's like, so do you want to tell him? I'm like, no, I don't. He's like, well, you gotta tell him,
Well, no.
Damn.
I love Matt.
Man, so I wanted it to be done, and they took it okay,
Was this the first time you'd done that though? Like you checked in with everyone and said, "Hey, I fucked up, man."
Yeah, it happened before. I checked in, I told everyone that I used, and it was 2 weeks later that it happened again, and I told everybody I used, and yeah, so my sponsor, he somehow coaxed me to go right back into recovery. He told me you got to tell everybody, so I told everybody. My PO was like, man, I had a PO that was great.
I never liked
know,
that guy.
he was actually such a good guy that was trying to keep me on the path of recovery, not the path of destruction.
Right.
Because plenty
Someone
of
like
times
just throwing the book. Just that's their answer.
he didn't really know much about. He knew what recovery was. He's never walked it, but he's a PO, so he knows he's got plenty of people that are trying to do this thing just like I was.
Really trying to do it.
And he talked to me. He's like, man, so here's how it's gonna be. I was getting ready to write up a probation violation for you. Smack me in the face with that. I never heard that come out of his mouth before because I was always honest. I was always already on the way to treatment, whatever it was. And he was like, I was getting ready to do that because I didn't think you were gonna make it out of this. And I'm really glad that you decided to be honest and tell me about this because you didn't have to. So I took that as okay, well, this is like your last chance, man. You got like a year left on probation, and he's giving you a chance again. Like he's giving you plenty of chances. And then I went to group, and I told my counselor, I told my peers, and probably like 4 or 5 people showed up for me that day, and we all went out to a meeting. It was a beautiful moment where I felt like all that shame and guilt that comes along with that relapse. It just went away. I wasn't tripping about it anymore because that was how it always was in the past. Man, I used, now it's like, oh, I got to be guilty because otherwise everyone's gonna think that I'm a piece of shit, and I really just want to keep getting high.
You think a lot of that comes with like that switch too, where you stop caring what basically everyone thought. Like you weren't going. I know there had to have been a point like you're worried about, shit, I got to tell everyone. But then again, like you mentioned how you were in meetings, I had the designer bag, making sure everyone saw my fresh shoes, da. But now you came to a point, it sounds like, where none of that mattered. Then all of a sudden you saw the benefits of how none of that mattered, but they're all there for you.
Yeah.
Like that 1,000-pound telephone type situation. Like,
It didn't. None of the shit that I thought mattered.
right.
They really cared about me for who I was, not for what I
Like, let's just
not
go
for
hit
what
a
I looked
meeting
like.
up.
Exactly.
Like it was
Exactly.
nothing.
Let's get you out of your little shit show. We're not going to sit in your little pity party that you're trying to invite us to, but we're going to take you out. We're going to go
Some
to a
will
meeting.
call it the
So,
solution.
yeah, so here's the deal.
That's what they were showing you.
So shame and guilt go kind of hand in hand. The way it was explained to me, guilt is a mechanism built into us by a higher power to let us know that we can change. Shame comes when we don't change,
When you don't
when
change.
you don't do anything about that. So you felt the guilt, and then you're almost moving into the shame so that you can go back to
you
and
changed.
justify.
Right.
Yeah. But then the group's like, no, you need to come over here and do this. So then, I don't have to feel that shame. I can feel guilty for doing something. You know what I
We
mean?
still have our
So-
feelings.
and that lets me learn.
Yeah.
So if I don't learn from it, then I start feeling that,
And what's scary
that
is when
less
you don't,
than
there's
feeling.
no
You know
guilt
what I
there
mean?
when you do something like
Right.
but we don't even have to share about that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like you had people holding you up that took you around to the solution.
Right.
Like let's not dwell
that's
on
your higher
they
power
could've,
working through other
that
people
didn't
to
care
help.
Could have been like, dude, you fucked up, you used. Like why you keep using? Why you keep relapse? None of that was probably said to you.
And that's because that's the way I thought.
Yeah.
That's the way I thought when
That's-
someone used.
that's what our brains do.
Someone
right?
used, and I'm
brain
immediately
wants-
like, what the fuck's wrong with you, man?
Yeah.
Like, just the other day we were
it wants
talking
to
about
move
all this
into the
good stuff
shame.
and
It wants
how
to move
recovery's
into it.
going good, and you're gonna turn around and basically shit on me, and you're gonna go use. Like, that's the way I thought. So that's the way I think and perceive that people were thinking about me. You know?
That's the
But
way
now
our
what
minds will
happens
make
slowly
it.
is you won't put that onto someone else when they relapse. 'Cause
No.
your head would be telling you that about yourself. Because I guess. When I find myself thinking that way,
Me,
that's kind of
me,
the shit
me.
I do. And Bob was always good about doing that to me in early recovery.
Me.
Because I'm poor me this, me,
I'm warming up for the opera, baby. Me.
So it's like
all
surrounding
about
ourselves
me.
with shit like that. It got me through to where I'm at today. And like a lot of this, I have to learn that from you guys, because when you're dealing with, it's usually like a loved one who's in active addiction. Like with my story, I don't know. Like you grasp for every straw on what you can say, or what you can do. Really, at the end of the day, it was you who picked up. It's you who went to the rooms. It comes down to me. I'm the only one who can make that change.
Right.
You're the only one who can make that change. Like you made that ultimate decision to, who knows where it came from? Maybe God came up your butt and said, "Hey, you're gonna say this out of your mouth."
Yeah.
Whatever the case was, like you came clean that day. and
Desperation.
It sounds like that was the change.
The gift of desperation.
the gift of desperation.
Yeah.
Like that's almost like a drop.
Yep.
Like there's so much of that. All right, you know what? Good shit. Thank you for telling us all that.
That's awesome.
HP. Curtis, after you kind of did share about it being a higher power moment for you, but like where does your HP come into play with your story? Like was that the pivotal like where is there anything you can share about with your higher power and how that's a part of your recovery?
Well, yeah, higher power is huge in my recovery.
Her name's Alicia.
Oh, that's your higher
kidding.
power? You know, a side
Just
note,
kidding.
and I just shared this with our men's meeting, was in early recovery, I
Love you,
share
Alicia.
this, is
Yeah, I love you too, babe.
when I got into recovery, I wanted it so bad. I made it real clear to everyone there was going to be no roadblocks. No matter what you guys told me. And someone shared about this earlier at our NA meeting, was like if they told me to go stand out on my tippy toes
toes, yep.
and eat egg cones, I'd be eating them and on my tippy toes because I want this so bad. And I used to be like, oh, they said we're devil worshippers. Guess who today would be a devil worshiper? Like, I just wanted recovery so bad, nothing was going to get in the way. So when they said you got to have a higher power, because I came into this, sure, I've heard about God, sure, this, that. Okay, you got to have a higher power, Tim. Well, my mom's my higher power. That's what it was. Until one of these old timers said, well, what happens when mom makes a mistake? She's not infallible. She's going to make a mistake. And of course, I want to sock him in the throat because you're talking shit about my mom. But at the end of the day, it's the truth. She's human. She's infallible. She can make a mistake. And if I put her on this pedestal as my higher power,
Right.
that's where I saw, because I made the group my higher power after that. And the same thing applied. Like, what happens when you're at the business meeting and the group starts arguing, people get up and walk away, and they're leaving, and people are bitching, and all you got is shit taste in your mouth about the group.
Absolutely.
Like, that can't be a higher power. This is my story. Like, so for a higher power, like, I had to come to that realization, and my sponsor was like, you know what, like look at nature, and like that's how he explains. People that have a real big issue with God or higher power, he's like, well, look at nature, and just he words it in a different way, but to look at all these stars and beautiful sunsets, and like the you know, you're out fishing, you see the sun lowering, and these beautiful things. Like, you think you know, that's not a God moment, okay, one of those deals. But he was able to kind of open my eyes to what a different higher power was, where I could accept it and really believe it. Because for a while I'd just say it, and I'd say that shit, well, fake it till you make it. That doesn't work for me. Like, I could say it, but I didn't mean it. So for me, saying something like that, a light switch was a higher power for me, the light switch might break. Then what? Like, I just made my higher power something that can
Fuck
break.
the doorknob.
That's what I mean. So I learned
Yep.
that the hard way. So now, Curtis, I want to hear
Get
about
in
it.
there. Fuck the doorknob.
Yeah. Getting to what Bob says here.
Yeah. The audience is like, what are they talking about? F a doorknob.
Yeah, well, so a wonderful man who's passed now was the most influential sponsor in my life. Bob's doing a good job. But DJ, you know, he's
Oh,
my
I've heard
core.
so many stories about this DJ.
Yeah,
Ron always talked about him.
Yeah, we did
amazing
big book
man.
study together.
And
Action, all that crap.
yeah, and one of the things he taught me, he's, you know, because a lot of times in treatment and stuff like that, I heard, well, you know, just grab anything, you know, the doorknob can be your higher power and blah blah blah, and he grilled into my brain that a higher power has to be something stronger than myself.
Right.
Period. Because I've tried most of my entire life trying not to use, trying to better my life, trying to enact my will to get things to go the way I want, failing at everyone. I mean, drastically.
Miserable.
Left your own devices.
So there is no hope for me in this life if there's not something that can help me.
Right.
And if there's something that can help me, it's got to be stronger than the way I am now, right?
Yep.
Fuck the doorknob. That's what he said. You know what I mean? I mean, we have to have faith and belief in something, right? And that's where the faith and belief comes from. And for me to figure that out, because I wasn't religious, I was born and raised Jehovah's Witness, and my family disowned me for smoking a cigarette when I was 17. Really horrible experience for me. I'm not dissing anybody or their religions, you know. So for me, that left a sour taste in my mouth with God and religion. Of
course.
So, you know, I sprung up like that. But when I came into the program, I walked in, like I said, broken down and beat down, willing to do whatever it took, right? And they said you had to have a higher power. So the way DJ explained it to me made 100% sense. Because if I couldn't find something stronger than myself, then that means I was going to die. Because I knew where my addictions were taking me, and it was death. It was death or long-term prison, which would
And
have...
left to you, you couldn't do it yourself.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. So there had to be something out there stronger than me. And then, like you said, you know, I look around nature, and for me, the ocean is everything. I love the ocean. It is such a strong and beautiful thing, right? Them waves are strong and ferocious. That's got to be created by something or motivated by something, right? I get it. Tidal shift and all the moon and crap. You know, I get that. I know where Bob's thinking.
I love it.
Yeah,
Okay,
you know, but fuck the doorknob. So for me, I had to come up with something, right? Now, I don't have to explain what that something is. I just have to know that that something's there.
Yep, up
Right.
here and here.
There you go.
And we were talking about earlier.
Mustard seed of faith.
Absolutely, you know, that's all it takes, you know, to get into that realm.
Right.
And for me, watching others, you know, he sent me on a task, my sponsor at the time, which was to watch those around me with the light in their eye and speaking of solution, and watch how they interact and what they're talking about. And every one of those individuals, and even to this day, talk about faith and a belief in a higher power, something stronger than themselves. So just by watching that work in other people's lives, I had the belief that if I took those actions, it may work for me in my life, right? Mm-hmm. Coming into sobriety, I'm a newborn baby. You know, I don't know nothing. I don't even know how to
Emotionally,
walk.
Spiritually, all
We
of that.
all-
You're starting
yep.
back
Yep.
at
We follow our adults. We
Right.
take their steps,
yeah.
you know, and then we find out what
I got
fits
poopy
and
pants.
works. Exactly.
That's about it.
Basically, wet
There
behind
ain't
the ears.
But you
nobody
still
to,
love me.
ain't nobody there to change me
Right,
though, so I better
exactly.
not
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so that's how I started getting an introduction with my higher power, where the higher power, my higher power really made their self prevalent was actually in this room right here in 2218. I was struggling with the first step. I know, and I've always known I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. Big whoop. That allowed me to continue.
Right, exactly.
Right? You know what I
that's
mean?
right. Hey, I'm a junkie, so what
Yeah.
the hell?
Yeah.
What do
That
you
was,
expect from me?
I used to
No big
stand on that.
deal.
Like that
Yeah.
was my deal.
Nothing to see here, Ma.
That allowed me to run whatever way I wanted. So
Right.
for me, that was no
That
big
was my
deal.
excuse. Yeah.
But little did I know that's not the full intention of the first step. You know what I mean? It wasn't until I came here to a meeting at 2218 one time, and I was down in the rooms listening, and an individual who was quite intoxicated came in, and like any good group will allow that person to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Kick 'em out.
Until they become
Belligerent or
exactly.
physical or-
And the topic was on higher power, which was so ironic. And he got up and he started talking about how Jimi Hendrix is his higher power and this and that, and he was really getting psychedelic with it. And
He was going all in.
Oh yes, and he was going on for 10, 15 minutes,
That's awesome.
and they escorted him out of the room, right? And right then and there, and I swear to God, this is how it happened. Right then and there, I was like, a light bulb clicked. I mean, that's all I can explain it as. I got up, and I had to call my sponsor at the time to let him know that I understand what it is to be unmanageable and powerless. You know what I mean? Because I seen myself,
right.
right.
Jimi Hendrix left
No,
the
yeah,
building.
Dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I couldn't get a
Yeah, I
hold of my
gotcha.
sponsor, so I called the next guy that I communicated with, and then I called the next guy till I got
It
a
just
hold of
clicked.
somebody.
Like
I was-
something just.
Isn't
Well,
that weird?
it
Because
did.
I was running around. I don't know what it is, but I get it.
Yeah,
I don't know what
it went from
is.
head to heart.
Yeah.
I quit trying to wrap my head around it, and my heart
Yeah.
sucked it in, and
Oh, yeah.
and made it part of me, and that's what happened in that moment.
Uh-huh.
I remember sitting up there on a bench by the piano, talking on the phone. I was excited like a 2-year-old.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
dude, this is so. I totally get it, man. I was standing there, drunk, acting a fool, talking about nothing. And everybody's looking at me like I'm an idiot. That's what I envisioned because I had no control. I had no, you know what I mean?
Right.
No manageability whatsoever.
Right.
It was just that small little seed there of just one person's, supposedly simplistic for better,
Well, shit,
lack
everything
of better word,
lined up
action.
for that to happen.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And it falls in play the way it's supposed to for a reason, I believe. And at that moment, I was ready to accept what First Step offered and what it
Faith
meant.
of a child.
Absolutely.
Just
Well, I just
don't
shared that in a
know.
group message on our this NA group that we're in. Like, I have responsibilities, and it kind of clicked. This clicked a purchase ago, but I didn't say anything about it. Well, we made a purchase for literature and key takes, whatever. It's like $300 something. I was excited about this. Like the group's doing good. It's it's self-sustaining. It's a recovery group that's self-sustaining. With 7th tradition, we're buying and I wrote that. I was like, and I worded it in a way where I was like, so I worded it in a way like, all right, so we're all copacetic with our literature and key takes. Like I just went and copped a whole bunch of more literature. Times have really changed. I'm excited about getting recovery literature and key takes. Like that was a big.
It's like scoring.
It was. That's what I said. That it said
That's what-
something to that line. Like I just went and copped some key
Right.
takes in literature. I said something on those lines, but like this is what I'm excited about today.
Right.
I'm happy about that.
Right.
Like that's the shit I get. Like the biggest deal back then was I just got like a half G for under $50. That was a big deal. Times have changed. Like this recovery, this life that we live.
You've changed.
Yeah, through being around other people.
Right.
I mean, I couldn't figure this out by picking a book up myself.
No,
You
we-
wouldn't have gotten that God moment, that higher power moment, without some drunk walking into a meeting and blabbing on about Hendrix, and it just clicked. Like, I don't know why, and I don't look that gift horse in the I don't ever try to. I don't need to pick it apart. Why I'm there to be present for someone who's really hurting nowadays, I don't care why. I just know that what I'm doing is working. You know, to be there for someone else who's hurting or going through it, these are the gifts of the program in my mind.
Here is another smack in my face, brought to you by DJ. And I think
Yeah, I
Bob-
like this guy. This
I've
DJ
talked-
guy. I've just heard nothing but great stories
He's
about him.
amazing, man.
Right
No
on.
bullshit.
Right on. Right on.
Yeah,
right on.
Right on,
Ron
right
always
on.
said- yeah.
That was his favorite saying.
Ron-
Right on.
Ron
Right
told
on.
me much
I
and
got
fuck.
you. Right on.
And fuck.
And fuck. Yeah.
But I always hated cliches. Anybody had a cliche
Right on,
to say?
right on.
Yeah, I hated it. Yeah, he said right on and all the time.
That's all I remember. That was one of his favorite. Right on.
But-
Right on. And he'd shake his head. Right
So
on.
he used to always tell me because I would like a kid, you know, I'd run up to him and I was like, dude, I just as an example, you know, I'll pull something random, you know, even small stuff, but this, you know, like, oh, I just lost my job, but then I got a phone call to come over here to work. I didn't even look for a job. He's like, if it's odd, it's God. And
Odd, it's God.
and I hated that when he'd say that, right?
I want to throat punch you.
Yeah, you know, I'm still newer in recovery. You know, it's like, but I accepted that job. I did that.
Right.
He's like, you know, if it's odd, it's God, Curtis. And I'm like, what does that even mean?
Right on.
Now I know.
Now
and
makes
now I
total
know.
sense.
You know what I mean?
Total sense.
You know, because like I said, you know, I was really strongly against religion and the whole God idea at the beginning. So when odd things like that would happen, I coined it voodoo magic because it was obviously super odd.
Jimi Hendrix.
It's something that
Voodoo child.
shouldn't naturally happen.
Right.
So coincidental, you know what I mean? It had to be something, so I just coined it voodoo magic. So if you ever hear me say that, that's what that's about. But it took me years
That's
to
the Curtis
understand
twist
that
to odd,
if
it's
it
God.
really is odd, you know what I mean? Because odd shit happens in my life all
Oh.
the time, constantly.
Oh.
That is so
I don't second
uniquely
guess
in
it.
line with good
Yeah.
living
Yeah.
or helping others that it's got to be nothing but my higher power. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
And there's no reason to question it unless you need, I mean, if that's something you got to do. So tomorrow, we're doing this thing, and this, to me, it's like a gift of recovery. Like, there's a bunch of guys that are meeting over at Kevin's at like 3 or something, and we're riding a bike out, I don't know, up north somewhere.
Oh.
And it's a celebration of life for a guy named Sam. He was supposed to be on the show, but he ended up getting sick. And that was one of the guys he was supposed to be on with you, Bob, but you ended up on here with Keith because he got sick. But the main reason I'm bringing him up because I want to mention him, and to me, he was pretty big in my recovery. He did recovery differently. The way he was very with nature, like, and his music selection was awesome. Like, the thing about Sam was that he told me we had a few moments, like on Tuesday Night Movies. He'd always
He
come.
was salt of the earth.
Yes, like, and I was thinking about it because
Peace, love, and hippie grease.
peace, love, and hippie grease,
Yes, sir.
fucking grooving, and he would always. It was just he was a good guy, and Cheryl said something about it on here earlier, so I just wanted to bring that up, like, and Gretchen's good shit too, and he was part of my recovery to a point of like showing me kind of it was him, like, I think, and it sucks because they're gone, like Manny too, like they would both say things to, like, Manny would say things like, is that really how you want to be? When I do something out of line, you know, think I'm being funny, and he would just really put me in it, but with the most kindness and never shun you for it, like.
That was Manny.
Yeah, and Sam would be he was different, like you said, like the recovery. We talked about that before he came on, like, and that's what I wanted him on for, was because of the way his recovery was not the conventional. That's what I always want to share about, because I know
His recovery was his recovery.
his recovery. We each find our own path.
We walk a different path.
But I know we have people listening that are thinking about going into recovery or thinking about a different way of living, and need to understand there's not just one way. Like, people graduate life happy. And it wasn't just because of this one A or that one A. There's different routes to that same finish line. Your recovery is your recovery. If
Yeah.
you're happy, you do it.
And you know what? Clap your hands.
As an example, if I talk to you about AA and I feel so full force about it, that's because that's how I found the solution. That's the path I walked. If
Same
I'm
here.
telling you any other way to recover, I'm lying to you. I'm giving you a really bad seed. I'm giving you a thing called opinion.
Yeah.
And
Opinion is
and my
a
opinion
killer.
will kill you.
Yes.
Because if I haven't experienced it or
said
walked
it
that
lots.
path, I truly don't know how it's going to turn out for you. It's like when guys that I sponsor, you know, I don't give out life advice, and I don't tell you relationship advice. You know what I mean? I work you through the steps, and if you got questions with that or help with that, then I'm there for you. But if I'm also here also as a friend and a good advocate. If you want to come to me and say, hey, this is going on in my life and stuff like that, I don't know what to do. You got any ideas, or what do you think about this situation? If I've been through something similar, I can tell you what I did and how my outcome came out. I won't tell you to do that. I'll just tell you what my experience, what that was.
Boom. That's it. We share
yeah.
our experience, strength, and hope,
Yes.
not what we think you should do.
Oh, that'll kill you in a heartbeat.
Well, and this
My-
program taught me
yeah,
that.
that's-
And I don't like bringing up religion or politics
It's
to
unhealthy.
that extent.
It is unhealthy.
But if you don't believe in the same politics or religion as I'm now okay with that. Like, I'm okay that you don't, our thought process isn't aligned. Like, this program gave me that where I can accept someone else's opinion. I'm not going to be mad at you because you don't believe the same political views as I
That's-
believe.
Yeah.
That's what this
That's
program's
their- yeah.
done. And giving suggestions is not the same as my opinion, because that'll kill. Like Bob always says, my opinions could kill you.
Absolutely.
I will hurt you.
What's your experience with suggestions, Kyle?
I don't know why, man. This came up when you were talking about opinions, but I heard this quote by Bill Ballard.
Who?
Bill B. Opinion is really the lowest form of human knowledge. It requires no accountability, no understanding. The highest form of knowledge is empathy, for it requires us to suspend our egos and live in another's world. It requires profound purpose larger than the self kind of understanding.
Empathy.
I love
is
that
the
quote.
bomb.
That's a good quote.
Yeah, that's a damn good.
I guess the reason I was asking is I know, like, I didn't realize that for 3 years you've been trying at recovery. I didn't know that until you shared on the podcast about this. But
That's what it took me too, almost 30.
yeah, it's like
That's a weird
you
number
two
for
are
a
little-
lot of us. I mean, for a lot of us, though, we
2 years
about
of-
3 years I've flown around. About 2.5 I've flown around. About 2 years I've flown around. Some people longer than others, but I hear a lot of 3 in that 3-year range. It's
For a
really
while, I
bizarre.
thought it was just, it was like, all right, so I'll cut out the heroin. The heroin's the problem,
Right.
right?
So
So
trying to figure out how to use the right
life was still, happening. Xanax. Okay, so Xanax was the problem. All right, well, Xanax is obviously it's not the problem. Okay, well, weed and alcohol, meth. These got to be the problem, right? So it turns out the whole time I was the problem.
Right.
The addictive behaviors.
I
that
am the
that
common
I-
denominator, not in some, but all of
I'm
my
always
situations.
there. I'm always there every time, no matter how far I run, whether it's the East Coast, whether it's the West Coast of Somalia. No matter where I run, I end up running into myself.
Right.
I'm right there every single time.
You know, those were solutions for me that actually
The solution,
worked in my
exactly.
life
For a while.
for a while. And then those solutions became actual problems and started destroying my life.
What do you mean? Like you're
So-
saying what he was saying was your solutions. What do you mean? I'm not following.
The
When I-
alcohol
when
and
I-
drugs, right?
Yep. When
This-
I first started drinking and using, they did what I needed them to do.
Oh, okay.
They were a
They're your
solution to my
escapes
problems.
you needed that would get you out of your head about these
Absolutely.
problems. I understand.
And then they became destructive problems within themselves. I was no longer having fun. They didn't make me the life of the party anymore. They didn't make me feel self-confident anymore.
And that's that paradox that they talk about in Alcoholics
Absolutely.
Anonymous.
That's what Alcoholics Anonymous
Absolutely.
takes from. No, I'm joking. Well, they said you're never going to use happily again. Like whatever. That's a whole song and dance later. But,
But you know that going back into sponsorship and doing the work, that's why it is extremely important for newcomers to get a sponsor right away and dive into them steps. I've heard others say, you took your time getting here. We could take your time getting through the steps. It's not a race. Don't rush. But in my experience, when I take my solution away, the drugs and the alcohol, I'm a mess. I am lost. I have
You're
no
left with
solution anymore. I'm craving my solution. I need to fill that hole. And what do? I got to fill it right away with something, or I'm going to fall apart. And that's just me. I'm just
Right.
talking about myself. And the best and the only way that I've experienced, anyways, is to fill that that hole with a spiritual
Something
solution.
good.
Spiritual solution.
Well,
get
and
into that right away.
That makes sense because for how long were we playing doctor, whatever, that I know what makes me better. And then, like you said, that what made me better turns into basically the problem. And then what?
So I kind of wanted to jump back to kind of what you were talking about.
Kyle?
Yeah, brother Kyle. He, you
Well,
know,
you're a brother now.
and one of my favorite things is in the big book of AA, and I think it applies anywhere, is we are sure that God wants us to be happy, joyous, and free. We cannot subscribe to the belief that this life is a vale of tears, though it once was just that for many of us. But it is clear that we made our own misery. God didn't do it. Avoid then the deliberate manufacture of misery. But if trouble comes, cheerfully, and that's the hard part, cheerfully capitalize it as an opportunity to demonstrate his omnipotence. Meaning
See, there's a big
the,
word,
The
omnipotence,
importance of how big, the importance of your spirituality. That's you know, that's the thing for me today is, you know, when trouble comes, which it does, I'm the common denominator, not in some, but all of my situations. So when that really hard thing comes down the pipe, which it will, because life loves to show up when we're making other plans, how am I going to deal with it?
Right.
So the how I deal with it is in direct proportion to how I think, act, and feel spiritually. And if I'm spiritually connected, then I can handle those things in a more healthy manner.
Right.
You know,
You
so
get through
I
it.
just kind of wanted to piggyback on what you were saying, Kyle, because it's very important about realizing I am the common denominator in everything that I do. You know.
Yeah, I think he really hit on the head about that. You know, I can go any part of the world.
Yep.
I can try this format of drugs, that format. I can do this, that, the third. Like, you realize at the end of the day, the problem is me. So you got to work on me. It sometimes takes quite a bit to get there, though. Fuck, it took you 3 years to get to that point, or 2.5 years to get to that point of realizing, like, shit, it's me. I don't know. That's a whole nother ball of wax. So we've got 12 minutes, boys and gals, which means we go into the end portion of this ball of wax. So real quick, 2218, like Curtis shared about it. Umpteen years ago, he fought, it clicked for him in one of the rooms at 2218. Like Bob's been here 20 years. Like this place has been around. It's a great club.
Me
It
and
has
Fred
a lot to
Flintstone
offer.
got sober together.
It's only getting bigger, and it's like opening its door. It's trying to be more accepting to every, you know, we just had a whole month of about the pride, you know, the LGBTQ
all
plus,
cultures,
all that.
all cultures.
Like they're trying to really, you know, make this welcoming to everything that's out there for recovery.
No sect, denomination.
No, there's no one, basically nothing's turned away here.
Or creed.
So this club, it means a lot to me. They stayed open during COVID, and I always preach on the top of a soapbox how this place was part of saving my life when every other club I went to for 3 years prior closed down and Zoom meetings started shutting down. This was here. And I bring all that up because I'm able to give, so I give. If anyone listening is able to give, please give. The club could use the help. If you're not able to financially give, come volunteer some time. There's tons of service positions for the club itself. We do spring cleanup, fall cleanup. We do all sorts of things. We have events. Come be part of the club if you're able to. And with that, I gotta plug the Gratitude Cafe again for $5. This little old lady named Jane, who's been back there forever. She
Love you, Jane.
makes homemade food. Tonight was homemade pizza.
Oh, the dessert was great.
Yeah, like it was two homemade cookies, a big brownie with a scoop of ice cream over it, tossed salad with, it was just fire, and some bread, like toasted garlic bread, and then you get coffee or water. It's good. You can't get that anywhere else.
Grubbalicious.
$5. And they are gonna start. She's gonna probably open up Monday nights too, but
Brother.
Friday nights for sure. The menu's always at the front door.
Brother.
Bobby. So, that's the plug time. Now, we're going to do this thing that we want to go around the table and talk about what we're grateful for. Because, hey, the name of the show is 2218's Attitude for Gratitude, which means we're grateful. With that said, Kyle, what are you grateful for?
Oh man, I'm grateful for the church that I go to and the pastor that talks about being grateful. This thing he said was, I'm grateful to be above ground and out of prison. You know, it took me about 2 months of hearing that almost every single time he'd go on for a sermon.
For it to click?
For me to understand, I'm like, holy crap, I understand what being grateful is now. I'm alive. I'm alive right now. I'm not in jail. I'm not in an institution. I'm alive, man. I'm really grateful for Pastor Jeff. That's all I can say. I can't say his last name.
You can say what you want.
Well, man, I'm absolutely grateful for him, and I'm really grateful for 2218 for keeping his doors
Do you
open.
go to the recovery meetings on Tuesday there?
Yep, Tuesday nights every Tuesday. I've been going there.
At Serenity, is it?
Serenity Village,
You can
yeah.
plug it.
Been
If you
there-
believe in it, plug it, man.
Been going there since my last relapse, 5 months now, man, and it's been a huge game changer for me. You know, every Tuesday, Pastor Jeff's got a great recovery aspect. You know, there's definitely some God in there. You know, if you're uncomfortable with that word, he'll help you.
He won't let it be a roadblock for your
Yeah,
recovery.
he'll talk straight from addiction. You'll hear it. So I'm really grateful for that.
This man said to me once, he was like, you know what, Tim? I used to have a crack pipe in my sock. Now I have an energy bar. Can't you see how energized? And this is a pastor. Like, that dude tripped me out 3 years ago when he
That's
told me,
awesome.
I used to carry crack pipes in my sock. Now I got energy bars. Elena, grab that mic, girl. What are you grateful for?
Talk to us, girlfriend.
So our faithful producer who came in on a night, she is way busy and came batters up.
Thank you.
Batters up, girl.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Messaging my sponsor. Ooh, let me give a shout out to my awesome sponsor
Boom, boom.
because she's up listening right now only because her husband.
Not only, she supports the show too. Gosh, it's a great
She
podcast.
does support the show,
Yes, she does.
but she does love to sleep. She has to deal with people like me.
But she don't like to get up.
Okay, so you're grateful for her.
So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for many things. I'm grateful for my kids and a few things. I'm gonna be even more grateful if this graduation party that I have planned for tomorrow goes
Whoop, whoop.
swimmingly.
It's going to.
Nice.
Swimmingly.
So
I am
you're
very-
grateful for Alicia.
And I am very grateful that my sponsor is coming to help me. My sponsor is coming to help me.
Yeah,
because
boy,
I reach out and I ask for help in recovery. Because that is what we need to do when we know that we are over our heads. and
Grateful to ask for help.
There you go. Even if
Ooh.
someone even offered help, but whatever.
And I was offered help by many people, but I do need to realize, but it's, in recovery, there are some things that can get to us, and I am honest, and I will be honest with you, no matter how much recovery we have, I am full-blown in panic attack mode, people. So it does happen, but I have friends to help me through this.
All right. Well, you needed to get that off your chest, and you did.
By the way, your nails are lovely, girl.
Yeah, you got some beautiful nails.
Girl!
Always are.
Whoa.
Boom.
No, show her your horn, because she's going to toot it. All right, Curtis, what are you grateful for?
Oh, that list is long.
Well, get to listening.
I'll just go through a few. Grateful for my family.
Burnouts.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Burnouts. Burnout Bob.
Burnout Bob. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Take
Mr.
away from his gratitude moment.
Yeah, I'm grateful for sponsorship, for sponsees. I'm grateful for 2218. That was before I moved up north, a little farther up north. I was here religiously, and it was huge impact in my recovery. Grateful for Bob. I'm grateful, obviously, to be alive. So that was a thought not too long ago that it wasn't going to exist. You know, that I wouldn't be around. Yeah, grateful for my freedom, friends and family. So grateful for the program, obviously. So the program's awesome. So yeah.
Awesome sauce. Roberto S., what are you grateful for?
Burnout Bob.
Burnout Bob, what are you grateful for?
I'm telling you guys, man, if my life was any better, I'd have to be twins so I could have twice as much fun. And I've been saying that a lot lately because I'm blessed beyond words. I mean, I'm almost in tears a lot of days lately of how blessed that I truly am to have the people in my life that I have the family in my life that I have. that I have most and foremost my higher power in my life, that I never thought I would have a relationship of that magnitude and that nature, period, which I do, and it keeps getting better and stronger. And it's because I truly work at it. Just like, you know, we can tell each other how we formed relationships with our friends and our family and stuff. I try to form a relationship and have a relationship with my higher power on a daily basis, which is hard for a lot of us. And I'm really thankful that I can make Elena bust ass laughing over there.
Oh, I'll show you did.
So, so you know, I am. I'm just really thankful for just having a life in general that is beyond any measure that I could have ever imagined that I could have, and the people in it. That's the main thing, because I am a person who loves being around people, with people, and sharing my life with people. I don't like being alone. I never have. And that's one of those fears that makes my four-step almost all the time. And I'm able to freely and openly discuss it, you know, because I do. I care a lot about having people and someone around me all the time, because I love it. I really do. It makes me feel secure, even though I know I have comfort in my higher power, being okay with being by myself. And he's taught me that, and or it has taught me that. And so, yeah, just, I mean, there's, you know, the list is endless. You know, Scott and Cheryl, who are, you know, the president and the treasurer for this club, they work very, very hard in their recovery to try to keep these doors open. And I can't say enough about, I just met these people in the last year, and I've spent some time with them, and we've had some pretty decent conversations.
Quality time.
Yeah, and deep conversations about recovery and, you know, the history, you know, or the future of this club, and wanting to do things to have this club succeed. And I just, like I said, I'm truly grateful for those two people in my life, because I love forming relationships with people and bonding in those relationships. So I can't say enough about those kind of things and blessings that I have today. So, you know, I almost feel like I'm getting away with something. That's how blessed I feel. The last couple of days, I've been wandering around going, what the hell?
You've
you
been
know,
walking on clouds.
Yeah, what the hell? Am I getting away with something? Something ain't right here, man. I'm going to get caught. Caught what? Having a good time and enjoying my life? I guess that's where I'm at today. So, boom, dropped the fucking mic.
Wow, look at that. So everybody's grateful. Maybe me and Kyle should end the show tonight.
Go for it.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Kyle.
What are you grateful for, Tim?
Oh, me? I want to first say I'm grateful for Vinny, Ken, Alicia, Ruth, Aaron, my mommy, Keith,
Mommy.
Elise, Court, Cheryl, Scooter, Melinda, Papa Bird, Nate, Dylan, anyone else I missed, I'm sorry. I'm real grateful for you guys checking in on the show, and the show isn't a show without it being interactive, so I'm really grateful for that. But this won't make sense, but first and foremost, I'm grateful for my mom, my dad, my family. Without my family, I don't know where I'd be or what I'd be. I was instilled with some beliefs, and some core beliefs at that, to know right from wrong. And I got that from my
I
parents.
love you, Mama.
They're good people, and like all
They
the
are.
bridges I burnt with them, and they're still there for me. Like, I don't take that shit for granted at all, ever, not for a second. And I'm real grateful for my family. Grateful for last minute situations, picking up the slack, you guys. I appreciate all you guys here. Elena had some shit going on. You were just brought into the loop a day ago. Scott, things fell through. You know, he was going to be on, and then Bob, he picked up the slack there, and Kyle last minute. I'm grateful for people in recovery. You guys come through. Like, fuck, I'm grateful for you guys, and I appreciate you guys.
You realize you scheduled me 2 months ago for
You
tonight.
bull hog shot. I brought it up to you like, hey, dude, I need you on the show, and we never solidified a date. Because I checked after
Actually,
you.
Tad solidified the date, and it was
Okay,
July
well,
16th.
Tad is busy at a drag show. Or he got to meet RuPaul tonight. Or something like that. I don't know. He's not here.
Man.
In lieu of Tad not being here, we
We love
still
you,
have a
Tad.
buzzer beater that we do.
Oh, buzzer beater.
So, the buzzer beater tonight, it's a doozy. As I'm making it up while I'm droning on.
Here come the nuts. Click, 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 click.
Last week we said if you could have a meeting anywhere, and some people were like outer space, and some people were like, we had some goofy ones. But you know what? We got different people here, and I want to hear this again. If you could have a recovery meeting anywhere, any plane, any type of alien, anything you can think of where you could have a recovery meeting, Kyle, where would it be? Where would you have a meeting with recovery?
In a brand new Tesla.
Boom. So,
On the-
Curtis, where would you have a meeting? Anywhere. Anywhere.
Probably on a beach in the Caribbean. I suppose it really doesn't matter much, but it's nice and relaxing.
It's
I
around the
suppose.
ocean. I know you just said something about
Oh, yeah.
that. So, Elena, where would you have a meeting?
Anywhere on a vacation.
Anywhere on a vacation.
Anywhere.
Okay.
As long as I'm on a vacation.
Vacation meetings. Roberto, where
On-
would you have a meeting?
On the playa at Burning Man.
At where?
Oh yeah, Burning Man.
On the playa at Burning
There's
Man.
meetings there. Don't they have a whole recovery family there?
But I'd still have one there because that's where I like them.
Hey. Mine hasn't changed. It's the same as last week. I got to have a meeting on a boat.
On a boat?
On a boat. And
We've had one there before.
We have a meeting there every time we go out. That's just how it goes.
You have one
Hinting
on a
for
boat?
another one,
Yeah,
Bob.
in a boat, on a boat, near a boat, by a boat.
So I did that last summer with a friend in recovery, but we actually got in the water and we were
I wasn't
all-
baptizing them.
No,
That's a swimming meeting. That ain't a boat.
kind of hanging out on our
It's a-
floaties and we had a meeting in the
It's a
water.
floaty meeting.
Yes, and it was amazing.
Boom, that is
So we went
amazing.
past our time, but we got a crap start. So with that said, I want to thank everybody who's listened in. Thank you guys all for stepping up to the plate. Co-hosting Bob, I appreciate you. Elena stepping up. Our
No
guests,
Bob.
Kyle's and Curtis. Next week we got a pretty big ass show. Tad's got, I believe, 2 of his closest people coming in, and they might be some guests that we've had on before. I just don't want to say it if I have it wrong. So just tune in for that next surprise. Like, that's what it is. If anyone has suggestions about the show, please send them directly to me. I put my number on this feed, or you can get me on Facebook at Timothy J. Warren. Friend request me, put a message on it, let me know who you are, and you're requesting friendship. I will not turn that away. Anyone listening, you're not alone. There's recovery out here. You can come to 2218 First Avenue South. It's here. You can get on these feeds. Reach out to me personally. You're loved. You're not alone. Shit can get better. You might think it's bad, but it can get better. You just listen to 4 people drone on for 2 hours about it. There's a happy life out here. It might take a little work, but you're not alone. You're loved.
Brother,
Thank you guys for
sister.
tuning in. And with that said, I'm pointing at the producer to end the show. So we're going to end the show and
Thanks
end
for
it
having us.
now so I can say goodbye and not sound like a dum-dum. Are we done?
Yo.